Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Hendy Field on the campus of Massachusetts Maritime Academy, right smack on top of the Cape Cod Canal for game number 11 of the 2018, so unfortunately named Harwich Regional, as this will be the third different field that these two teams have played on in their 3 days in this tournament. And we'll get it started for you in just a moment. We've got visiting Oswego State taking on hosting UMass Boston in this, the 11th game of the tournament. And although it may not feel like it under the circumstances, this really truly is the biggest game of the tournament. This is the one you try to get yourself into, because if you win this game, it's very hard not to win the tournament at that rate, because if you win today, you become the first team into the championship round, and you get two opportunities to win one game. In sharp contrast, the team that loses this game then has to step out and eliminate another team to get back to you, and then they've got to beat you twice. So it's about needing one more win after today versus needing 3 more wins after today, and that's exactly what we've got in mind. So a few things to consider here as we get into play. The first is the first pitch of the day from Joey Rogers, and it is in for a called strike one to Ryan Enos. No balls and 1 strike the count. Enos will be followed by Brandon Nicholson and Mike Delicari, the first third of the Oswego Laker lineup, as that one misses down low and away. Cleanup hitter is John Barnes in center field. Batting 5th is Milo Kutcher, the designated hitter. Batting 6th is Eli Holton, the left fielder. Batting 7th is Kevin Hylas at first base. Batting 8th, Lucas Olson at catcher. And batting 9th, Zach Whalen at shortstop. Brian Nolan will get the nod and the ball over on the Oswego State side today. In the meantime, a 1-2 count. Pop up to shallow right and caught on the run by the second baseman, Dave Murphy. So 1 away. Our broadcast perch for these games today, much different and much lower than we had yesterday at White House Field. I am standing at field level, a few steps off the right side of home plate. Going to be tough for me to judge the strike zone, also going to be tough for me to tell where fly balls go, because we've got a tent over us to protect us from the rain, which is spitting rain right now. It's rained a little harder earlier in the day and may still before the day is over. So this ball misses down in the dirt for Brandon Nicholson. So when the ball leaves the bat, I'm going to do the best I can. Hopefully we all just understand one another here from the jump today. There's a few complicating factors here at this park that you didn't have yesterday. First of which is you have an artificial turf surface all the way around except for the pitcher's mounds. You have pellets in turf painted like a grass and dirt baseball field all the way around. It's going to be a whole different surface. Very important that they move the games here today, and a good decision to do so, because the added field resiliency gives you two things. You can play better in the rain if you have to, as that pitch gets in for a called strike. And the other thing is you don't need as much time in between games to tend to the field and do grounds crew work. You really just have to tend to the mound, and that allows you to stay on schedule a lot better, as the 3-1 pounds the outside corner for a called strike. And the count runs full on Nicholson. Back to the wind. Here's the pitch on the inside corner for a called strike 3. Nicholson knew it, and he heads back to the dugout as the first strikeout victim of the day of Joey Rogers. Mike Delicari now the batter. Left-handed hitting right fielder against the left-handed arm. Shows bunt, pulls back, and takes ball 1 low. 1 ball, no strikes. One-0, good-looking hook there by Rogers. You can see why he's so successful, particularly against the left-handed bats, as that one drops in to make it a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Goes fastball on the 1-1, misses low. If Delicari could reach here, John Barnes would bat next. UMass Boston 2-0 in the tournament coming into today, 36-8 overall in the season. As that one misses away now, 3 balls and 1 strike to count. These are the final 2 remaining undefeated teams in the tournament. Oswego coming in now at 28-12. Wins on days 1 and 2 of the tournament as well. Payoff pitch. in there for a called strike. They had 3-2 on the scoreboard already, but it was actually 3-1, so it's a full count now. That's what I had in the book. Got to trust my book sometimes. Rogers back to the line, and here's the pitch. Waved at and missed, strike 3. So back-to-back Ks for Rogers to get through the top of the first inning, and at the end of a half inning of play, nothing across for the Lakers. Headed to the bottom of the first, your score: Oswego State 1, UMass Boston coming to bat. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com. Well, welcome back as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Here are the 3 things you need to know. UMass Boston has still got that killer streak going. They have never lost in the New England Regionals. That's now true at 3 different fields. They're trying to make it 4 today, 10-0 overall, stretching back to 2010. Oswego and UMass Boston were both at the College World Series last year, and also the Beacons have won 25 and out of their last 28, including the sweep of the LEC tournament, meaning they are a straight 5-0 now in postseason play. Taking his warm-up tosses for the Lakers right now is Brian Nolan, and Nolan will go to work against a largely intact UMass Boston lineup off of yesterday. Of course, they struggled just to put the 2 runs together in 10 innings, but faced some outstanding pitching in their win over Ramapo yesterday. So Eddie Riley will lead off again at third base, and you got Kyle Boudris, the DH, batting second. Batting third at second base, David Murphy. Batting cleanup at first base, Chris Fowler. Batting fifth and catching, Ryan McCormick. Batting sixth in left field, Nick Herzog. Wanderson Pinales is the one you didn't see in the starting lineup yesterday. Came on as a defensive replacement. He'll bat seventh in right field. Sal Persino in center field bats eighth, and Charlie Hughey bats ninth at shortstop. 0-1 pitch. Misses down low for ball 1. Riley had the big hit yesterday. The only extra base hit of the entire game, an RBI triple over the right fielder's head in the top of the 10th inning to drive in the decisive run. See if he can get a hot streak going off of that. And line drive straight back at the camera. And Gigi, after a great effort yesterday, flinching despite the chain link fence in front of her. Mark of a rookie. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. As Nolan goes back to the line, good sink down on the dirt, gets the swing and miss. They'll have to throw down to first, which they get, and the putout goes 2-3. 1 gone now in the first inning.
The designated hitter, number 15, Kyle Boudris.
Kyle Boudris now the batter. Boudris the designated hitter for the Beacons, and he will step in from the left side. Interesting lefty-on-lefty matchup. So it's starting to tell you a little bit about Hendy Field as we get started here today. Different backdrop than UMass Boston has had either of the last 2 days. Of course, the Beacons play on turf at Monin Park, their usual home facility, so this is not as foreign to them as it might be to some other teams. So you get a couple of other complicating factors. One is this is built into the middle of a Cape Cod neighborhood, essentially, and what that means is you've just got white houses all over the place. It's fits the area, but it doesn't fit a baseball backdrop all that well. So this sort of thing you wouldn't normally see. You try to keep stuff out of the batter's eye wherever you can, but you've got a big white house in straightaway center, and then you've got another big white house in the right center field power alley that might be a little distracting for these hitters today, as these lefties will have it tough enough against left-handed pitching. 2 balls, 1 strike the count on Boudris after taking that one low. And also where you are right on the canal, if you thought yesterday was bad as far as being able to get big hits, should be all the tougher today, as you'll have the wind coming off the water, the stormier and the later this thing gets. As there's a ground ball, diving stop made it shortstop, but no play. Ball in and out of the glove of Whalen as he got back up. Should just be an infield single. There is no hit column on the scoreboard here, so that's an interesting twist for you. So I'll be guessing along with you at scoring decisions throughout the day, apparently. So Boudris is aboard, 1 on with 1 out. And now David Murphy, the batter. I didn't know you could buy a scoreboard that had only a run column at the end of a line score. No hits, no errors. Such is life. So now here's Murphy with a man on and 1 out. Boudris gets his lead from first. The pitch. Curveball misses outside. And 1 ball, no strikes the count. Chris Fowler, last year's regional most valuable player, waiting on deck. 1-0, another breaking ball misses away. And you're starting to hear some noise out of that UMass Boston dugout as they are over on the third base side today as the home team. As we go up the first base side, of course, your visitor, they're wearing their yellow tops and their gray pants. UMass Boston wearing their black tops and white pants. 2-0. Looked like back to the fastball there, but missed away. And this is what UMass Boston didn't get in yesterday's 2-1 win. They didn't get that big chance early with multiple runners on base. They're a ball away from having first and second and 1 out. 3-0 pitch from Nolan. Gets in for the get-me-over. Courtesy strike makes it 3-1. Again, Fowler on deck and then McCormick in the hole. Murphy set. He'll look back and check on Boudris. Boudris had a lead of about 1.5 steps. Not a particularly close play over at first as he's back in easy. Nolan looks, he delivers. And the pitch is batted, foul out of play to the right side. Got the football stadium, multi-purpose football stadium at the Clean Harbor Center, located behind us. As this really is quite the coup for the Mass Maritime Baseball program. Should be an excellent tool for them in recruiting, as they do have a proud baseball history here. That can be difficult, not an easy school to get into. Not every kid wants to come here, but an attractive baseball stadium to go along with what's been a very proud and very successful baseball program over the years. Payoff pitch on the outside half of the plate, batted. Looks to be playable in foul territory, and just a whiff on it by Hylas over at first base will set the rest of the defense for you. And of course, that's one of the byproducts of having to play on 3 different fields, 3 different days. You just don't get any kind of a feel for what you've got to work with in foul territory, but we'll hold that thought for a minute. Hylas at first, Nicholson at second, Whalen at shortstop, Enos at third. Holton in left field, Barnes in center, Delacari in right. Olson behind the plate, and of course Nolan on the mound. The foul territory, the fencing does jut out into play a little bit because there's bleacher seating down that way in right field. A little bit like Fenway Park, kind of, how the fencing hugs the warning track. It doesn't get any thicker or wider. Here's another payoff pitch, and it misses up high, so eventually Nolan does lose Murphy, and we've got runners at first and second with just 1 out. What a contrast this would be for the Beacons after being stymied offensively for so much of the day yesterday. They couldn't get on the board until the 5th. If they could jump right out and get themselves a lead they could play with. I mean, this tournament could really start to stack in UMass Boston's favor very quickly if they could get themselves a first-inning lead in Game 11. Remember, as the home team this time, that was a mountain they had to scale last night as the visitor. Very difficult for the visiting team to win an extra inning game, but that's exactly what the Beacons were able to do yesterday. So here's Chris Fowler, and Fowler, looked a little low, but he'll take a call, strike one. I just have to keep in mind that I'm in literally no position to judge the strike zone here today. Several steps to Fowler's right and back, and at ground level. Nolan working out a stretch, looks in for his sign. He kicks, he fires. That one does miss low down in the dirt, or what we'll agree to call dirt anyway. All pellets down there. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. No distance markers on the windscreen around the fence in the outfield, however, looks to be an especially short porch to left field. Get into one on a nice day, which today is not. You might be able to put one in the drink. One pitch. Popped up to shallow right field. Coming in is Delicari. He'll make the call, he makes the catch, and there's 2 down. So Fowler retired, and that's always a victory in and of itself for opposing pitching anytime they can make that happen. And that'll leave it up to Ryan McCormick if the Beacons are to score here in the first inning. McCormick stepping up as the catcher today, batting in the 5th spot in the order. Tough day for McCormick yesterday, as it was for most of the Beacon hitters. Went 0 for 4 in the ball game. UMass Boston coming from behind to win 2-1 in 10 innings and get into this all-important Game 11. Nolan looking to work his way out of a first-inning jam. Another left-on-left matchup, and the first pitch bounces down in the dirt, blocked there by Olsen for ball 1. Nolan kicks, comes to the plate, right on the inside corner there. And called a strike, now even at 1-1. If McCormick could extend the inning, Nick Herzog would bat next. As we go, also the yellow and green paneled caps to go along with the jerseys. Ground ball right at the second baseman. Routine play for Nicholson. He's up with it and throws on to first for the out that retires the side. So the Beacons threaten in the first, but they do not score. No runs in the inning on 1 hit. No errors and 2 left to board at the end of 1 full inning of play. Your score, Oswego 0, UMass Boston 0. You're watching a 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com. Top of the second inning here at Hendy Field at Mass Maritime. No score between UMass Boston and Oswego State. Back-to-back strikeouts ended the first inning by Rogers, and he gets his first pitch of the second inning in for a called strike one to center fielder John Barnes. It'll be Barnes, Miles Kutcher, and Eli Holton, 4, 5, and 6 due in the Oswego lineup as that one bounces down, ball one. Half the tournament field gone at this point through the first 10 games. We've had 4 eliminations over the last 2 days. 2 teams remain. And this is the final winner's bracket game as that pitch misses low. So although it's possible that not every remaining game will eliminate somebody, as you could need the dreaded if game at the end, this has popped up, every remaining game after this one will involve at least one team that has one loss and therefore must win. As that is caught in right field by Pinellas. And there is one out in the second inning.
Designated hitter number 7, Miles Kutcher.
Miles Kutcher now the batter. Designated hitter today for Oswego. He'll step in from the right-hand side. Certainly looks the part of the designated hitter as he steps in with the big Popeye arms, and looks like a pad of some kind around his left knee, front knee, so not afraid to crowd out over the plate as well. And he'll await the 0-1. Turns on it, but hits a ground ball to shortstop. Playable there for Hughie. He's up with it and gets the throw across in time. 2 up, 2 down in the second inning for the Lakers. That'll leave it up to Eli Holton. Holton also stepping in on the right side. Getting the start in left field today for Oswego. Rogers delivers and goes right down the middle with a called strike one. That's something that, as you separate the wheat from the chaff here in the national tournament, something you'll see more and more often is starting pitching, pounding the strike zones, getting ahead 0-1. Ground ball, weakly hit. Somebody's got to cover first base. Tough play, backhand for Fowler, and it goes in the woods. Stays in play as it stays away from the dugout. That one might just be a hit all the way, as you couldn't have rolled it out there any better. You had the pitcher, the first baseman, the second baseman all scampering for it. Really not much of a chance of a play. Would have taken a tremendous effort. And there's no hit or error column on this Fugazi scoreboard either. So we're going to go with a 2-out infield single, I believe, and that brings Kevin Hylas to the plate. So Hylas steps in from the right side with Holton aboard at first and 2 away. Strike on the inside corner. Hylas looking to keep the line moving. Lucas Olson, the 8-hitter, next in the lineup. And the carrot out there in front of Rogers now is if you can bear down and get Hylas, you can start next inning with the 8 and 9 hitters still in front of you. They'll check over at first base on Holton. He'd hardly gone anywhere. And walks back in safely. Rogers now back to the wind. Runner goes. Fastball, good pitch to throw on, but it's a little late. Clean steal of second base. Throw goes into center field, but well backed up by Fruscino, so nowhere to go. No balls, 2 strikes the count, but Holton up into scoring position where theoretically a single could score him. And another thing to keep in mind on these turf fields is the ball gets out to the outfield a lot faster on a ground ball than it does on dirt and grass. So a hit to the outfield is not necessarily a guarantee to score a run from second base the way that it would be with 2 out at a place like White House Field yesterday. So file that away as Rogers gets ready with an 0-2 for Hylas. McCormick putting down the signs. They'll set up on the inner half. He deals. Down in the dirt. Good discipline by Hylas to hold back. Now 1-2. Catchers get a workout on this surface as well. Ball jumps right back up at you real quick. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Curveball, grounded foul, so we'll get at least 1 more. Oswego went 1-2-3 in the first inning. Rogers retired the first 5 he faced before that Holton single you just saw. One, two, mean hook. Should get the strike call just for the motion. Not sure where it landed, but a great looking pitch, didn't get it. 2 balls, 2 strikes now the count. Some serious bite on that one from Rogers. We'll see if he comes back to it here in a 2-2 count, because I can tell you, Hylas isn't going to hit that pitch, and it's going to be hard for anybody else to do it either. Rogers kicks, comes back to the fastball, got him, froze him on the inside corner. I think Hylas was looking for that curve again, didn't get it, and the straight ball takes the bat out of his hands. So back-to-back inning-ending strikeouts for Rogers, and Oswego leaves the runner in scoring position. No runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 left aboard. At the end of 1.5, we're still scoreless. You're watching Game 11 of the 2018 New England Regional here on BeaconsAthletics.com. Welcome back to Buzzards Bay as we head to the bottom of the second inning. The weather today, as they say around here, not too much, pretty good. 56 degrees at first pitch, 80% chance of precipitation, 92% humidity, a dew point of 54 and a visibility of just 6 miles. So not great baseball weather here today, but with the lights and the turf, we're trying to get some games in here today. 2 for 2 so far, trying to play 4 by the end of the night. So next one misses low and outside to Nick Herzog. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the count on him will be followed by Wanderson Pinellas and then Sal Frascino. 6, 7, and 8 in the UMass Boston lineup. As Nolan goes back to work, he kicks, deals, fastball, fouled out of play the other way. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and kind of have that same central tension to this game that you did to yesterday's, and that's, when you start to thin out the herd like this and you've got only good teams remaining, you're talking about teams that pitch it well, play good defense, mix in bad weather, and you just wonder where are the hits going to come from in a game like this. And that was the question that UMass Boston ended up answering by having Eddie Riley go the other way with one and pop it over the head of a drawn-in right fielder. That was the formula for them to get the 1 extra base hit they needed to win that game yesterday. Might be talking about something similar here today as that one misses away. Full count on Herzog, and of course leadoff walks grease the skids for offenses all the time. This would be no exception if Herzog could find his way there. Here's the payoff pitch. Foul tip back at us. And now the count will remain 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nolan going back to the wind. Here's the 3-2. A little bit of a change up there. Popped up and foul out of play. Hit a good distance, but well fouled down right field way. Not a lot of foul territory here, as they've kind of had to wedge the field into just a little bit of space they have in between not only a couple of streets, but of course you got the drink out beyond the left field fence out on the Cape Cod Canal and Buzzards Bay itself. Canal behind us and the bay beyond the left field fence. Payoff pitch, popped up, foul out of play, and this, anytime you play on this spot, it raises the big philosophical question, are you on Cape Cod right now or not? The argument for no is you're on the wrong side of the Cape Cod Canal. The argument for yes is the town of Bourne is on Cape Cod, and they cut the canal into the middle of it once upon a time. As that pitch is into Nick Herzog for a called strike 3. He goes down looking, and there's one gone in the second inning. That'll bring Wanderson Pinales to the plate. Pinales, we saw as a defensive replacement yesterday, came in and played right field toward the end of the game. Came in the ninth, and as the visitor, he actually did not have any at-bats in that game. Takes a fastball, just a hair inside. Now 1 ball and no strikes the count. 1-0, popped up into shallow right. Playable out there for Delicari, who figures to be busy today, and he's able to glove that for the second out of the inning. It's two-way now for Sal Frascino. Sal was 0 for 3 with an RBI yesterday. It was his ground out that drove in the tying run of the game back in the 5th inning as UMass Boston looked to have a big inning in the works there yesterday. They got the 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, ended up scoring just that 1 run, but proved to be enough as they got the extra in extra innings. There's that first one in for a called strike. If Frascino could reach here, the Beacons could get through the bottom of their order in the 2nd, which would give them an advantage. Charlie Hughey waiting on deck. 0-1. Fastball missing a little low, evens the count at a ball and a strike. If you tuned into that game yesterday, you heard the expertise of Sean Manfredo, the associate head coach at UMass Dartmouth, left on the outside looking in for the 3rd time in 4 years despite a 25-win regular season. Ground ball fair over the first base bag. Now that'll be an interesting one to score as it goes under the first baseman's mitt and into right field. Now the ball was going to be fair no matter what. Hylas tried to play it behind the bag. I think the ball might have caught a piece of the bag on the way over. It was still very playable there. It would have been a foot race to the bag to go over and get it. So, again, absent the hit column on the scoreboard and the error column on the scoreboard, your guess is as good as mine on how they'll score that. But anyway, you're up to second base now, Frascino. So it's going to be an error one way or the other because Frascino definitely wouldn't have gotten to second base. So for that much, you've gotten a fielding error on the first baseman, Hylas. And it's just a question of whether he gets a single first or if that's just a straight 2-base error. So Hughey now the batter has a fastball in there at the knee for a called strike 1. No balls and 1 strike the count. Nolan looking to go back to work here. Try to pitch around the 2-out opportunity, misses inside there. And evens the count at 1-1. Nolan looks, kicks and fires. Ground ball down to second base. Should be routine for Nicholson. He's got it on to first for the out that retires the side. So they work around the error, but the inning comes to an end immediately thereafter. No runs on the inning. We believe 1 hit. We'll have to check on that. Certainly 1 error and 1 left on base. And at the end of 2 full innings of play, we're still scoreless. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com.
Olson.
Lucas Olson, the 8-hitter, will lead things off for Oswego. Will be followed by Zach Whelan, and then Ryan Enos, 8, 9, and 1 in the Laker lineup against Joey Rogers, who is dealing to this point through 2 innings. He's kept Oswego scoreless as the first pitch is in there for a called strike 1. It's 0-1 here on Olson. And just to tidy up the scorebook, Frashino did get credit for an infield single on that ball last inning. That's probably the right way to go with it, and really no reason not to give him a hit given the fact that no runs scored in the inning. It doesn't impact anybody's ERA. Might as well throw it to him, and they do. So a hit and an error on that play, and Frashino 1 for 1. As that one again with some mean bite on it, missed inside. But that is a promising pitch, and one that's definitely got to put some doubt in the heads of these Oswego hitters that he can break off that curveball at a moment's notice. We've seen him do it to each of the last 2 batters. 2-1 comes back to the number 1, push foul wide of third base. Again, this is the all-important game number 11. Winner of this one becomes the first team to qualify for the 2018 championship round. And if you get there through the winner's bracket, you only have to win once in order to become champion of the New England Regional. 2-2 pitch is popped up on the infield. Might be playable coming my way. It won't hit me. I have covering over my head, don't you worry. And lands a few feet behind me. Sounded like it hit the tar, and there's a souvenir out there for somebody. 2-2 remains the count. Rogers back up to the bump. He steps and delivers. Fastball inside corner, see you later. Nothing you can do about that. He is hammering the inside corner to right-handed hitters right now, and Olson becomes the latest one to find out about it. 4 strikeouts for Rogers to this point. 3 of them have been looking. So now Zach Whalen to the plate. Out of the 9 slot, the shortstop for the Lakers. First pitch to him is that same thing, fastball inside corner, and that looks like it's going to be Rogers' bread and butter as he finishes up this first trip through the Laker lineup. 0-1, there's the curveball again, hung up there on him a little bit this time, so he's had big motion on that curve, but he's yet to throw it for a strike, 0 for 3 in that respect. It's 1-1, curveball again. That time he gets the call. Fell into the strike zone at the very end. Looked to be a little high coming through, but put it in the sweet spot again right there on the black of the inside part of the plate. And it's a 1-2 count now on Whalen. See if he comes back to that inside fastball. No, they set up a way. They'll throw inside, though. Might have missed the target there, but they went in, got the swing and miss, changed the eye level on Whalen, got him climbing the ladder. Again, no contact. 3 straight strikeouts now for Rogers. He's got 5 on the day. And now the Lakers will get their second trip through the lineup and hoping to make some adjustments on Rogers with another look at him. Ryan Enos is 0 for 1, popped out to second base to lead off the ball game. First pitch to him, again, fastball on the inside part of the plate. No reason to get away from that until the Oswego hitters prove they can put it in play, which they've yet to do. So here comes the 0-1. Curveball that time down low. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. 1-1 pitch, curveball and a good one. Missed a little bit outside, but just some very, very good looking motion. Can tell that's going to be a plus pitch for Rogers here today as he tries to push through the early innings in a hurry. 2-1 fastball lined into left field, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. You can throw that inside fastball over and over again so long as they're not hitting it for hits, but that's what Enos just did right there. Second hit of the ball game for the Lakers, and they've got a man on with 2 out for the second time in as many innings. So now here's Brandon Nicholson. Nicholson digs in from the right side, 0 for 1, went down looking back in the first inning. So second straight inning with a 2-out opportunity. They'll throw back over to check on Enos. He walks back in safely. Last inning, of course, Oswego did steal a bag in a similar situation with 2 out, although they waited until a little later in the count. Throw back over again, and it makes all the sense in the world. You know, these conditions against pitching this good and defenses this good, wrong to expect extra base hits in any given situation. So if you get 2 out, you might as well try the steal and see if you can score a guy from second on a single. Breaking ball blocked there by McCormick. Does a good job of staying on top of it. Enos thought about it, and he almost went one step too far away. They might have had to play back at first. One ball, no strikes. As Enos gets himself a good-sized lead from first, one of the bigger ones we've seen so far today against the lefty pitcher, and no surprise, they'll throw back over to check on him again. Mitchell and Western New England both dismissed from the tournament and losses in games 9 and 10 respectively. So down to 4 remaining as we begin game 11. Is that one blocked down in the dirt? 2 balls, no strikes on Nicholson. If Nicholson can keep it going, Mike Delicari bats next. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout, as are the majority of hitters in this Oswego lineup, as 5 of the 9 fanned against Rogers their first time up. Rogers kicks, runner does not go. The 2-0 left hanging, and it's hit foul. Well hit, but well foul. Well out in front of it there was Nicholson. He'll look to see if he can straighten one out. Those retired numbers, awfully tantalizing down on that left field fence. They look awfully close, particularly from the home plate perspective. And if you're a right-handed hitter with a little pop, that's where you're going to want to go with one today. You can tuck one in right by that jersey number 1 by the left field foul pole. Could make all the difference in the world in a game like this. Throw over again. Enos is back in safely again. Throw over again. And again, Enos is staying close. A lot of times when a team does that, it's not just to keep a runner close. They're also hoping they can wear him out a little bit, having him land on his stomach a couple of times, having to get up, dust himself off. If it makes you a step slower to second, it can make all the difference in whether you're safe or out on a stolen base attempt. It's a 2-1. Curveball misses high. So hitter's count now for Nicholson. And we'll see if Rogers bites and comes back to a fastball or if he tries to stay off speed. In a hitter's count with Delicari, the 3-hitter on deck. No empty base here, of course. 3-1 pitch, goes back to the curveball, put it in a good spot, didn't get the call. Ball 4. First walk issued today by Rogers. Enos advances to second, Nicholson aboard at first. And a runner in scoring position for the second time in as many innings here for the Lakers as Delicari steps up. Delicari 0 for 1, struck out swinging to end the first inning, trying to avoid a similar fate here in the third with a couple of men on. Last time he was at bat, it was with the bases empty. Good time for a lefty-on-lefty matchup if you're UMass Boston. Rogers going to try to take advantage of that here. First pitch is that big curve, misses high. So you've got movement on that curve, but you're not getting strike calls on it, which means these Oswego hitters aren't going to swing at it. So in a situation like this with a couple of base runners on and 2 out, would seem to me that you've got to bear down and throw fastballs to get yourself out of this thing. 1-0, back to the curve, shows you what I know. Easy ground ball down to second base. Thrown on to first by Murphy, and 1 pitch later, Rogers makes a liar out of me and brings the third inning to an end. No runs in the inning on a hit, no errors, and 2 left aboard. At the end of 2.5 innings of play, we're still scoreless. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional here on beaconsathletics.com. Beacons get back up to the top of their order in just the third inning, and they'll send that top third to the plate together for a second time against Brian Nolan, who's been able to keep the Beacons off the board at least through these first two innings, although the Beacons have had opportunities. There's a one-pitch out. Beacons got into some trouble with this yesterday. Giveaway outs like that make a game get away from you fast, and Eddie Riley is very quickly back in the dugout on the 1-3 putout. And when you're a guy like Rogers, who's had a little trouble with runners in scoring position the last couple of innings, something like that can really help you catch a second wind and get some rhythm going in the game. So he gets Riley back in the dugout and now deals with Kyle Boudris. Boudris has one of the two UMass Boston hits, a single back in the first inning, and that fastball hits the outside corner for a called strike one. Lefty-on-lefty matchup here. After Boudris, it'll be Dave Murphy, and then the very dangerous Chris Fowler if they could get a base runner aboard. A 1 pitch, misses down low, evens the count at 1-1 strike. Nolan kicks, he delivers, 1-1 hit on the ground at the first baseman. Remember, he got eaten up by one last inning, has some trouble on the transfer there, but getting over there in a hurry was Nolan. He makes the reception and they get the put out. Not pretty, but it all looks the same in the scorebook, 3-1 for the second out of the third inning. 2 up, 2 down for David Murphy. Murphy worked a walk back in the first inning. And really, that's what you want to avoid now if you're Nolan, because you want to get this out, not just for having a 1-2-3 inning for its own sake, but you want to make Fowler have to bat with the bases empty next inning, as opposed to with a runner on here in this one. Really limits the damage he can do to you, especially on a day like today, as the first pitch misses low and outside for ball 1. Again, these games being played today at Hendy Field on the campus of Massachusetts Maritime Academy in Buzzards Bay, just on the other side of the Bourne Bridge. In fact, in the shadows of the railroad bridge, which is off to our right. This one's popped up into very shallow right. Second baseman having some trouble, drops the ball. Tough on the foggy day. More clouds than fog at the moment. The light's on, but that's a catch you got to make, particularly with Fowler up next. So that one in all likelihood will be an error on Nicholson. And that brings Fowler to the plate with 2 away. Chris Fowler, we told you earlier, was the most valuable player of the 2017 regional. He's a local, graduate of Barnstable High School, and a guy who has come up with clutch hit after clutch hit over the course of his career with the Beacons. First pitch misses away. 1 ball, no strikes. Ryan McCormick, the catcher, waits on deck if Fowler can keep this going. 1-0 pitch, good backdoor breaking ball, gets in on the inside corner, and if you're going to attack Fowler, that's a very good way to do it. Use that lefty-on-lefty situation to your advantage, keep it in under his hands like he did there. Murphy gets his lead from first. They'll go check on him. Murphy staying put. This is a situation where if you didn't have 2 out, you might think about a hit and run or something of that nature, but with 2 out, I'd rather let Fowler see if he can give you that elusive extra base hit. 1-1, another killer backdoor breaking ball. Fowler disagreed so much the bat actually fell out of his hands as he was giving the umpire a stare. Looked to be a little low. Now a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Nolan 1 strike away from working around a base runner for the 3rd time in as many innings. Gets it right over there. Fowler wasn't going to get any call after beefing the last one, and he heads back having not made contact. Big outs there for Nolan, and we're through 3. No runs in the inning on, what are we saying? Taking a look at the lineup and the stats there. We'll see if they can tell us. They've given neither a hit nor an error on that play, so again, your guess is as good as mine. Maybe a hit, maybe not. These are some wild times we're living in. 1 run left on base, and at the end of 3 full, we're scoreless. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com.
John Barnes.
John Barnes going to lead things off in the fourth inning for the Lakers. He'll be followed by Miles Kutcher and Eli Holton, 4, 5, and 6 in their lineup. Rogers goes back to work and puts one right on target on the outside corner for strike one. Get the feeling this is going to be another nail-biter, much like UMass Boston had yesterday. 0-1 hook misses a little low. So much more at stake today than even yesterday, because you get this win and you need just the one more. Loser of this game would have to go out and win 3 other games, including beating this opponent twice, to come back from the loser's bracket. As this one's popped up, foul out of play behind me, over toward the football stadium. Took a nice high pop-up over the head of a fan there. You got to make that play. 1-2 on Barnes. Rogers steps off. 1-2 hit on the ground, and that hole between first and second, Fowler backs off, goes and covers first, and that's a good decision as Murphy was able to get over to it and makes the throw on to first base for the first out of the inning. Those of you who are Red Sox fans in the audience will remember how many times during Kevin Millar's tenure with the Red Sox where he'd make the wrong decision there. He'd go and stab a ball playing first base, and then there'd be nobody left to go cover first, or if he'd just let it go, the second baseman could have gotten it over to him. Well, Fowler makes the better decision there. And you keep the leadoff man off base. It's something that UMass Boston's been very good at. UMass Boston has not allowed a leadoff hitter to reach since the second inning of yesterday's game against Ramapo, as the bottom fell out of that curveball, and Kutcher does swing and miss that time. So you think about it, you had a 10th inning in that game yesterday, so that's a streak now of 12 straight innings where Beacon pitching has not allowed the leadoff man to reach base. You'll win a lot of baseball games that way. Kutcher goes fishing for that curveball again, misses again. And so he may see a steady diet of that for the rest of the day. It's also possible he might not see anything else in this at-bat if he keeps swinging. 0 for 1, grounded out to shortstop his first time up. Rogers back to work, switches to the fastball. A bit of a risky one there, fouled out of play to the right side. Kutcher looks like the type of a guy who loves himself some fastballs. And an 0-2 count, no need to throw them. We'll see if Rogers tries to take him off balance again here. They set up inside. I'll go back to the hook. Ground ball. Weekly hit to second base. Murphy, an even easier play this time. A little longer to go with the throw, but he gets it over to Fowler again. 2 up, 2 down for Oswego State in the fourth. That'll leave it up to Eli Holton. Holton had the first of Oswego State's 2 hits today. A single back in the second inning. He stole second base, but something we've seen happen a bunch in this tournament is that stolen base doesn't come until there's 2 strikes and 2 outs in the inning, so not much left to be done when you get to that point. Indeed, he got stranded there after a strikeout on the next pitch as the first one misses down low for ball 1. If Holton could keep it going, Kevin Hylas, the first baseman, would bat next. And calling for a new baseball here is Rogers. Is a little bit better with the turf than with the wet grass, but these baseballs still can get soggy. Good idea to swap them out every so often. 1-0 pitch, good sinker there. Swung on and missed. Rogers really established his fastball his first trip through the order to these hitters, and now they're seeing him for a second time. He's adding in some new wrinkles with some breaking stuff and, of course, that curveball that's really preventing them from getting comfortable in the batter's box. 1-1, snaps off that curve but misses high. So 2 balls, 1 strike. (2-1) fastball, rides inside. Now 3-1. Rogers winds in, delivers, fastball. Pretty well located. That's been a strike most of the day. Wasn't that time. And so Holton works a 2-out walk, so he's wondering what everybody else's struggles are. He's been aboard both times he's had the chance against Rogers. And he stands at first with 2 down. So here's Hylas, we told you earlier, struck out looking to end the second inning and did so right after Holton went down and stole second base. Of course, Holton did that last time. You wonder if he might try it again here. Still in a scoreless game into the top of the fourth. First pitch fastball, and this is a little bit inside. Hylas looking to extend the inning for Lucas Olson, who's on deck. 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup all struck out against Rogers. Hylas in the second inning, and then Olson and Whalen to start off the third. Throw over to check on Holton. He walks back in. Didn't deter him last time, of course. (1-0) again. They'll throw over to Fowler. Holton staying home, at least for now. Lights are on here at Hendy Field, as they have been since the first pitch. (1-0) curve, beautifully placed right over the middle and in for a strike. Hylas looking for something he can drive, and Rogers keeping him guessing as to when that might come. Usually you get about one pitch to hit per at bat. We'll see if this might be it. No, they'll throw back over to first. McCormick looked like he was shading a little bit inside with his setup, but we've seen them show that and not do it a couple of times so far today. Got him picked off, throw down to first. Fowler's got to make the throw to shortstop, and he does in plenty of time. So Holton caught stealing 1 to 3 to 6, and that will give the added benefit of making the bottom third of the order, who's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, bat together next inning. Good defense there by UMass Boston to get out of the fourth. No runs in the inning on no hits, no errors, and none left. At the end of 3.5 innings of play, we're still scoreless. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com. Bottom of the fourth here from Hendy Field. UMass Boston coming back to the plate. Ryan McCormick to be followed by Nick Herzog and Wanderson Pinales, as the Beacons try to find one of those scarce runs that they've been looking for over these last couple of days. Beacons have scored just 2 runs in their last 13 innings at the plate between yesterday's game and today, after putting a big hurting on Penn State Berks the first time out. Of course, that fun ends real quick once you get a couple of teams out of the tournament. A lot of high scores on day one, not so much since. The 0-1 is in for a called strike 2. (0-2) fell away, popped up, might be playable, will stay in the field of play, and caught over there by Enos. So a giveaway out for the second time in as many innings by UMass Boston to start things off. And, you know, not to say that Oswego's an underdog. It's hard to call anybody an underdog once you're 2-0 in national tournament play. But, you know, UMass Boston certainly a favorite in this tournament, and you know, really this game, therefore, by association. If you start off 2 straight innings with easy outs that you don't have to work for, that really helps a team that you think of as an underdog hang around in a game, and that's what Oswego State's doing right now. scoreless into the bottom of the fourth. And if you're an underdog and you can shorten the game up, which is what they're looking to do here, you take a bite out of this game, you take 4/9 of it away, you get a much better chance of winning a 5-inning game than a 9-inning game against a team as good as UMass Boston's been. And that's exactly what the Lakers are looking to do here. As Herzog pushed that one foul, now 0-2 on him. What an effort you're getting right now out of Brian Nolan. As he struggled in that first inning, had 2 on with just 1 out, but since then has been very, very good. As he misses the outside corner there, wasting a pitch perhaps in the 0-2 situation. Beacons looking to keep it rolling, as you saw on the graphic earlier, winners of 25 out of their last 28. Backdoor breaking ball there, didn't catch the outside corner. Nolan was looking for it, didn't get it. Two-two pitch. Driven to left center field, will hang up there, stays up there, and caught in the center by Barnes for the second out of the inning.
The right fielder, number 13, Wanderson Penales.
Wanderson Penales now the batter. He's 0 for 1. Flew out to right field his first time up. Popped up and out of play. They did score an error on that Murphy play back in the third inning. So there were no hits and 1 error in that inning, just to clarify that. And in the prior inning, they actually did not score an error on that play, so I guess they gave it a straight double, which is just preposterous. But we'll go with it, I suppose, or maybe we won't, as this one's grounded foul. And now a no-ball, 2-strike count on Penales. Foul tip, getting just a piece of it down low is Penales. They're arguing it. I could hear it in my ear through the headset. They're arguing from the Oswego dugout, and they've hit the music upstairs like the inning's over. The inning's not over. It's a foul ball by Penales. I could hear it. And so he'll remain up there in the 0-2 count. Nolan got to see if he can go get him again. Goes back to that slow windup 0-2 fastball right on the money, and sometimes the home plate umpire can get a little agitated if you come out and make him look bad, which the Oswego dugout did a little bit on that prior pitch. You wonder, if you didn't argue, might you have gotten that strike call? I don't know, but it's now a 1-2 count. The vaunted human element. 1-2 pitch, curveball, grounded down to second base. Slow roller, Nicholson up with it, has to hurry that throw, and he's saved. Wow. Penales gets out of the box fast. We knew he could move. I'm not sure we knew he could move like that as he legs out an infield single, Ichiro style, out of what should have been a routine groundout. So there you go. It shows you what difference those two calls make. The tick on the foul tip, which it absolutely was. That was the correct call. And then that ball call on the following pitch, which, again, I don't have the best perspective on the strike zone, but it certainly looked, from my vantage point, like a strike. Of course, much of the plate covered by pellets right now, hard to tell. First pitch misses upstairs, a fastball to Sal Frascino. And so, again, that same opportunity out in front of UMass Boston now, or even if you don't score, if Frascino can get on base again, you can get through the bottom of the order now and get the top of the lineup to bat again in the fifth. They took advantage of a similar opportunity in the second. They've got the runner picked off now, 1-3. Penales is fast, though. The throw down to second this time is in time, and so he's caught 1-3-6, and we've seen both teams run into the ends of innings that way. So UMass Boston giving away outs left, right, and center, and that's why we're still scoreless. They've got to get that fixed quick before they end up taking a loss here in Game 11. No runs in the inning on a hit, no errors, none left aboard at the end of 4 full innings of play. We're still scoreless. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com. Welcome back to Hendy Field as we push to the 5th inning. Another low-scoring affair for UMass Boston on Tournament Day 3. It'll be the bottom third of the Oswego lineup stepping up to face Rogers, and it's a similar problem that both offenses have now, running into outs at the bottom of their lineups in the last 2 half innings. Now they're stuck sending those low-place hitters to the plate now in the 5th inning. As the first pitch to Hylas misses low. Hylas was at the plate when last inning ended with a 1-1 count, when Holton got picked off at first, so he goes back up there with a fresh count to lead off the 5th. 1-0 pitch, hit on the ground, shouldn't have swung at that pitch. He might leg it out, though. Tough play from second. Throw is there in time for the out. That ball almost hit the dirt, and that was a Vladimir Guerrero type of swing there, and Kevin Hylas is not Vladimir Guerrero, so he grounds out 4-3, and there's one away in the 5th inning. Lucas Olson now the batter. Olson is 0 for 1, struck out looking to lead off the 3rd inning. So UMass Boston picks up a giveaway out there where they've been the ones blowing the kisses these last 2 innings. First pitch bounces in the dirt for ball 1. Olson 0 for 1, struck out looking his first time up. That was to lead off the 3rd inning. The strikeouts have disappeared for Rogers. He struck out 5 the first trip through the order, and he has not struck out anyone since facing Whalen, who's on deck back in the 3rd inning. 1-0, fastball, gets a generous inside corner there and evens it at 1-1. Ground ball outs have been big for Rogers this second trip through, as he's gotten 4 different ground balls to second base since the end of the 3rd inning, as that one misses high. And that's the only way he's recorded outs since the end of the 3rd inning, with the exception of that pickoff. So Murphy's been busy. 2-1, hit on the ground, foul wide of third base. Nice one-handed stab in the third base coach's box. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Oswego coached by head coach Scott Landers and assisted by Tyler Baker, Kyle Brown, and Jason Heindorf. Rogers to the wide is 2-2. Mean curveball, doesn't get the call. Got a home plate umpire just with no appreciation for style points on the curveballs, as the best ones he's thrown have not gotten the strikes. Now the payoff pitch goes back to the fastball, misses low with that, so Olson out of the 8th slot in the lineup works a 1-out walk. And sometimes if you throw a pitch that good and don't get a call, you can get frustrated by that and it costs you on your next pitch. Seemed to be what happened to Rogers right there. So now you've got 1 on with 1 out. And Zach Whalen at the plate. Whalen struck out swinging back in the 3rd inning. We told you that's the last strikeout of the day to this point for Rogers. We'll see if he can get back into that now with 1 on and 1 out. After getting Oswego State 1-2-3, the Lakers have had a base runner in every inning since the 2nd, but they've not put anyone to third base yet. Curveball, big looping curve, and just isn't happening today. Might have to abandon that curve if you can never get it called a strike. And 1-0 the count now on Whalen. It's half of pitching is making the adjustments, figuring out how you can get outs on any given day. As these hitters try to adjust as well after having no success in their first trip to the plate. Eli Holton, the lone exception. He had a base hit in the 2nd inning. Just 2 hits so far for Oswego State, the other belonging to Ryan Enos. A 2-out single back in the 3rd. 1-0 fastball misses low. 2 balls, no strikes, and that strike zone starts to tighten up a little bit. You got to find a way to get into it and get some strikes called. Rogers struggling with that right now here in the top of the 5th, and this is the kind of a game where 1 run might win it, so you've got to be very careful. Certainly don't want to be handing out walks, and certainly not multiple in the same inning. As they'll check on Olson, he's back into first. Rogers kicks, he fires. Fastball rides inside that time, and it's a 3-0 count on Whalen. Gotta figure one more ball on a mound visit's going to come one way or another, whether it be from the catcher or the dugout. These outs, these base runners, just too important in this high-stakes game 11. 3-0 pitch, you show bunt, pull back and take ball 4. It goes to the backstop, but it was ball 4 anyway. So Olson advances to second, and Whalen goes on to first. Bad job there by Rogers, 2 guys that he handled. The first trip through the order struck them both out. This time he loses the 8 and the 9 hitter to walks, and now has to deal with one of the only 2 guys that has a hit off of him today, and has to do it in a situation where there's 2 aboard with only the 1 out. Now the silver lining here for Rogers is the ground ball has been very good to him these last couple of innings. If he can get another ground ball to second base, this could all be over in just 1 pitch. So keep that in mind. Enos 1 for 2. His other time to the plate was all the way back in the first inning. He popped out to second. After Enos would be Brandon Nicholson if you can keep it going. So here's Ryan Enos stepping in from the right-hand side against the left-hand Joey Rogers. Most important at bat of this game so far with 2 on, 1 out. Best threat Oswego's had. First pitch, fastball down in the dirt, not even close, gets away. Wild pitch puts runners to second and third. And the Lakers have a runner at third base for the first time all day. There's wild pitches and then there's wild pitches. A lot of times we broadcasters call a pitch like that a 58-footer. That didn't make it 58 feet, maybe 55 or 56. Really no chance at all for McCormick to block that ball behind the dish. 1 ball, no strikes, and you wonder now, might a squeeze be in order here for Oswego State? Like I said, this is the kind of a day where 1 run might do it for you. Here's potentially that chance. You can score without the benefit of a hit, with that runner to third already with 1 out. Curveball blocked in the dirt, and day's getting awfully tough for Ryan McCormick behind the plate. 2 balls, no strikes to count. Now remember, you do have the open base. Back-to-back walks to Olson and then Whalen set this up. The wild pitch put them over to second and third. And now a well-placed fly ball could deliver Oswego State the first lead of the ball game in the top of the 5th inning. They set up down again. 2-0 pitch is down, very down, and it's 3-0. 7 straight balls now, 8 really, going back to the Olson walk, thrown by Rogers. And these Laker hitters now, I think you just have to hold back, make him prove he can throw a strike the way he's scrabbling right now. Swings at the 3-0 and hits a fly ball to center field, not deep. We may have a play at the plate here. Runner tags, he's going to go. The throw coming home is a lollipop, and the run comes in to score. So a calculated risk there by Ryan Enos, and it pays dividends as he hits the fly ball to center field, not deep. Frashino came up throwing but did not give a good throw. And so Olson able to come in and score thanks to that wild pitch, and the Lakers have got themselves a 1-0 lead as they truly manufacture a run here in the 5th inning. I mean, they've done nothing to earn putting that on the board, but yet there it is. So good situational baseball. They took advantage of what UMass Boston was giving away. Enos comes up with the RBI, and also Whalen advances over to third. So another wild pitch could maybe get a very important insurance run in. as Brandon Nicholson comes to the plate. 1 ball, no strikes to count. And, yes, you like the lead, but was it worth giving up an out to get that run this early in the game when you consider you're facing a pitcher that's not throwing strikes? That theoretically could have been ball 4, and you could be looking at bases loaded with 1 out instead of just the runner at third and 2 outs. And food for thought there as McCormick has to block another one that misses low. If they end up scoring just the 1 run this inning, you may go back and look at this at the end, similar to that great catch Herzog made in right yesterday, and say, UMass Boston really lucked out because that bad inning they had should have been so much worse. Instead, they only gave up the 1, and that gave them the chance to come back. That potential exists right now for UMass Boston if they can get a very important third out before another run scores. Umpire finally gives Rogers a strike call on that big looping curveball. That's really what got him into the struggles in the first place, is he's snapping off that curve, not getting strike calls, and that really took him off his game. Fog starting to roll in on Buzzards Bay now, not affecting the field of play yet, but it might soon as the fastball misses low and in. 3 balls, 1 strike to count. Is fog something you worry about in Harwich, where we were yesterday on the Outer Cape? A lot of times that can roll in the evening hours and make it very difficult to play, but you can actually feel the air getting thicker. You can feel the moisture on your neck right now as that one misses low. 3rd free pass issued in the inning by Rogers, and you have to wonder, this is not an elimination game, but it might as well be. It's such a big advantage to the team that wins this game that you just wonder how much longer UMass Boston can afford to ride Rogers here, as he's walked the last 3 batters he's faced, with the exception of the sacrifice fly in between, where he'd run a 3-0 count there, and Enos swung at the 3-0 only because he had that opportunity to hit a sacrifice fly, which of course is exactly what he did. So Olson at third, Whalen at second, Nicholson at first, and Mike Delicari the batter. Delicari 0 for 2, struck out swinging to end the first, grounded out to second to end the third. First pitch down in the dirt again, not even close, and that's the thing. When you've got a pitcher that's scuffling, if their stuff is still good and they're just getting pinched on the strike zone or they're not locating it quite as well as they could, that's one thing. Rogers has just been all over the map here in the 5th inning, and that's something that's got to be very disconcerting for Brendan Eigebrot and his coaching staff as they try to piece this game together through the middle innings. 1-0 again misses in the dirt. The runner breaks for home. What are you doing? What are you doing? And they call him safe. That second run gets in as Whalen dives in. Now they're throwing the ball all around. You've got a runner off of second base. And where is everybody? A second ago you had the bases loaded. Now you've got a man at second. Did you get 2 in on that play? What just happened here? You had runners at first and third is what it was. Olson had come in to score earlier, and I just hadn't colored that part of my book in yet. So that answers that question. So the runner at third was Whalen. He came in and scored, which was a huge, huge risk in the situation. Umpire's going to get together and make a ruling. I'm not sure what about. Right now, you've got Nicholson down at second base. So in the meantime, the safe call was made at home. The throw had Whalen beat, but he must have just evaded the tag, as he looked like he was going to be out by 2 or 3 feet, which really would have given UMass Boston a huge break. So Whalen comes in and scores that run on what's a wild pitch. And that's, whether he's safe or out here, you got to be really worried about Rogers, who's been nowhere near the plate for the last several batters he's faced. Umpires now calling Brendan Eigebrot over. Not privy to exactly what this discussion would be about. Get the runner down at second base right now. As it stands at the moment, Oswego State's got 2 runs on the board, and they did absolutely nothing to deserve them. Just took a couple of walks, swung for an RBI on a sacrifice fly, and then a wild pitch. And it's tough to see if you're a UMass Boston fan. A team that's been so good and so solid on the fundamentals all year long really take on this deficit in a low-scoring game because of the self-inflicted wounds here. The walks, the wild pitches, putting them behind. And you wonder, You know, 2-0 doesn't sound like a lot, but when you saw yesterday's game and 2 runs was enough to win that, and you've seen the way UMass Boston has struggled at the plate since the beginning of yesterday's game, you start to wonder, is there enough time left to come back in this game? The other thing you have to wonder is this fog is getting bad fast. I used to be able to see the houses on the other side of Buzzards Bay beyond the left field fence. I can't anymore, and it's starting to creep up toward the scoreboard in left center field. So it's just taken the scenery away so far, but if it gets much worse, it's going to start to impact gameplay. And all kinds of crazy things can happen if you get into a fog delay. I don't know what you would even do in a game you can't afford to suspend, because remember, there's another game tonight. So a lot of different things could happen here in the time ahead of us. The umpires appear to be done with their conference. And this is the thing about these long umpire conferences, is that they seldom, if ever, do anything. They're not going to change anything, I don't believe, here, or are they? They've got a runner walking back either toward first base. No, they're going to say that the inning is over. How do you figure that? I'm not quite sure. Or are they? Is it a pitching change? It's a pitching change. So UMass Boston was coming off the field, but it wasn't to end the inning. The base runner was coming off the field, but it wasn't to end the inning. It's just because there's a break in the action. So Rogers is done. And Rogers really gave you no warning that he was in this kind of trouble. He was very, very good through 4 innings, and then just crashed and burned here in the 5th through 3 different walks. And then the killer wild pitches set up the first run and ended up bringing the second one in as well. So UMass Boston goes to its bullpen, and we'll tell you about the new pitcher when we return. In the meantime, 2-0 Oswego State is your scores. Mike Doherty takes his warm-up tosses. We'll be right back on beaconsathletics.com. Mike Doherty steps up to the mound now for UMass Boston. Big guy measuring in at 6 foot, 240 pounds, a freshman out of Brewster, Mass. And he steps up to the rubber in a pretty difficult position for his team right now. 2 runs already in, and another one down at second base at the moment. 2 runs without the benefit of a hit this inning for Oswego State has given them the lead, and now Mike Delicari at the plate with a 2-0 count takes ball 3 outside. Enos drove in the first run with that sacrifice fly to center field. Second run coming in on the wild pitch. 3-0 the count on Delicari. And the Beacons just need to get out of this inning any way they can and try to assess what they've got left. Of course, as the home team, still 5 at-bats, not 4, as that one in for the get-me-over strike on 3-0. If Delicari can reach, John Barnes would bat next. Three-one fastball, misses low. 4th walk of the inning issued by UMass Boston pitching. That walk gets charged to Rogers because he threw ball 1 and ball 2. So Rogers finishes up throwing 6 walks in 4 2/3 innings of work. Very difficult to overcome. John Barnes, the batter. Barnes 0 for 2, flew out to right field to lead off the second, grounded out to second to lead off the 4th. as the mist continues to thicken here at Hendy Field. First pitch curveball swung on a miss, strike one. That one just rolled off the table. Kutcher waiting on deck. Barnes hoping to drive in a run or two here, while Oswego State's got this great opportunity. Time called prior to the 0-1 pitch. Doherty wasn't coming to the plate anyway, was looking back at the runner at second base. Doherty, another Cape Codder out of Brewster, Mass, along with Fowler over at first base from Barnstable. 0-1, fouled right side and out of play. And so Doherty hoping to apply the tourniquet here and get the Beacons out of the top of the fifth. Doherty taking his time and then steps off. Not friendly to the pace of play. Of course, we do have Game 12 coming at you here tonight from Hendy Field as well, where we'll have one more elimination. There'll be 3 teams to start the day tomorrow. Runners go, 0-2 curveball in there for a called strike 3. And that finally brings about a rather belated end to the top of the 5th inning. Oswego State comes up with 2 runs on no hits, and I mean no hits. Benefited from 4 walks and 2 wild pitches, no errors, and 2 left aboard. We're halfway through regulation. Your score now, Lakers 2, Beacons nothing. Can they make it stand up? We'll find out as we continue on beaconsathletics.com. UMass Boston, second time in as many days on the comeback trail as they come to bat in the 5th inning. They trailed 1-0 in the 5th yesterday and tied it today. They trail 2-0. Sal Fruscino will lead it off, to be followed by Charlie Hughey and Eddie Riley, 8, 9, and 1 in the order as a low strike gets called. On a pitch by Brian Nolan. Nolan getting an opportunity to pitch with the lead for the first time all day. And he gets the added benefit of facing 8 and 9, and not just 9, because remember, Pinales getting picked off of first base to end last inning. Ground ball down to shortstop. Slow roller, going to be a tough play across the diamond, and the throw is late. Safe over at first base is Sal Fruscino. So back-to-back infield singles for UMass Boston, which sounds strange to say. But, of course, Pinales got picked off to end last inning.
Blue shortstop, number 29, Charlie Hughey.
So nobody out with Charlie Hughey at the plate. We saw Hughey bunt in a similar spot yesterday, but it was a 1-run game. It was with 1 out in the inning. So it kind of tips the scale both ways. Would you bunt here? Potentially just 15 outs left in your game. Do you give one away when you're still down by 2? Hughey's apparent answer is yes, although he pulls back on the bunt and takes ball 1 low. They appeal, And no swing, says Jamie Williams over at first base. So 1 ball and no strikes on Hughie. Eddie Riley on deck, and then if anybody can keep it going, Kyle Boudris. Fowler would be the 6th batter this inning if the Beacons can get it around to him. 1-0 pitch, misses away. 2 balls, no strikes on Hughie. And remember, UMass Boston didn't get to be 36-8 by accident. They're very capable of making an opposing pitcher come apart in just the same way that Oswego State just did to UMass Boston in the top half of this inning. Shows bunt, 2-0. You pull back and did just enough to deceive the home plate umpire there. He's saying, where's my strike call? The ball hit me right in the mid. And he's saying, no, I got distracted by the offered bunt, so I just called the ball. And there you go. So a benefit there for UMass Boston as they get into a 3-0 count that probably shouldn't be. It didn't help any that Olsen didn't hang on to the ball. You got to do that as the catcher to get a call in a spot like that. But 3-0 now the count as they're trying to get 2 on with nobody out for Eddie Riley. Shows bunt again on the 3-0, pulls back, and it doesn't work that time. You get the courtesy strike anyway. Now 3-1. Fruscino gets his lead from first. 3-1 will wait as they throw back over to first to check on him. Fruscino in safely. UMass Boston is the home team in this game, so it's going to take quite a bit to beat them. They'll have opportunities to come back. They've got a leadoff runner here looking to try to get the 8 and 9 men on. That was the recipe for success for Oswego State last inning, remember. Back-to-back walks to the 8 and 9 spot hitters. Here you had Fruscino out of the 8 hole get an infield single. As this has been quite the case study in small ball for UMass Boston yesterday and today. Did just enough of it to win, get the 1 extra base hit to put them over the top. 3-1, popped up to shallow right field. Remember, the fog becoming an issue, but not on the field of play just yet. So Delicari was able to look that all the way into the glove and make the catch. Missed opportunity for Hughie and UMass Boston there. An unproductive out at the bottom of the lineup. That runner remains frozen at first base. Here's Eddie Riley. Riley came through in a similar situation in the 10th inning yesterday with a man on at first, delivered that RBI triple over the head of the drawn-in right fielder. You can bet that the right fielder is not drawn in today. Word gets around fast, and Delicari staying back at standard depth out in right field. Of course, in a place like this with short fences, really no need to play in all that shallow. Riley 0 for 2 today, struck out swinging in the first and grounded out back to the mound on the very first pitch his last time up to lead off the third. Beacon's really been in a funk ever since offensively. Just a couple of infield singles to speak of. Riley trying to give them a good at-bat here with a man on and 1 out. Nolan steps, throws back over to first. Fruscino walks in safely. .1-0 fastball, called a strike, inches low, called a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike now to count on Riley. That's the thing about falling behind. When a game's tied or when you're in the lead, it's easy to shrug something like that off. When you're behind, you need a lot of things to go your way, and that one didn't. 1-1, backdoor breaking ball, called a strike on the outside corner. And that has proved to be a very potent weapon for Nolan. Able to back pitches up on the outside corner like that. He's gotten him strikes in pivotal counts many times this afternoon. See what he does here with the 1-2. Throw back over to check on Fruscino. One-two hit on the ground, foul, wide of third. So 1-2 remains the count here on Riley. 1-2 fastball misses away. Good eye there by Riley as he keeps himself alive. Beacon's trying to mount a rally. They've only had 2 runners in the same inning once. That was all the way back in the first, and Boudreaux had a 1-out single, and then Murphy walked. Beacons have not had multiple hits in the same inning at all today. 4 hits, all singles. 1 apiece in every inning but the third. That pitch misses low. Throw down to second is late. Steal of second base by Frascino puts him into scoring position, and now full count on Eddie Riley. Second stolen base of the ball game, the first on UMass Boston's side. So now potentially a single could cut the deficit in half if Riley could sock one through either hole. Nolan ready with his payoff pitch to Riley. Fastball misses low and in for ball 4. So now it's UMass Boston with 2 on and 1 out. And they've got the opportunity, and Chris Fowler starting to loom in that UMass Boston dugout. He's now in the hole. You got Boudreaux at the plate, Murphy on deck, and Fowler in the hole with 1 away in the 5th inning. Boudreaux is 1 for 2. He singled in the first, and he grounded out 2 first back in the 3rd inning. First pitch misses downstairs for ball 1. Nolan looking, his 1-0 pitch bounces down to the dirt for ball 2. Time called, now mound visit. A pretty key situation here. Hitters count for Boudreaux with the tying runs on base. Frascino at second after an infield single and a stolen base. Riley worked a 1-out walk. He finds himself at first. Beacon's down 2-0 after Oswego State scored 2 runs without a hit thanks to 4 walks in the top half of the frame. This game had quite the rhythm to it until the beginning of the 5th. It's grinded to a halt here in inning number 5. And the winner of the game jumps the pile into championship game 14, where if you win that one, if you win this one and you win that one, it's all over. If you lose this one, then you've got to come back tomorrow. You've got to win game 13 and game 14 to force the dreaded if game 15, which would be played on Monday. Reason for that being, by NCAA rule, a team cannot be made to play 3 times in the same day. 2-0 misses down low. Now 3 balls, no strikes. Good time for a take sign here if you're Boudreaux. No runner at third base like you saw last inning with the sacrifice fly. 3-0 pitch, and that's in for the courtesy strike. So what does Boudreaux get here? Does he get a fastball to drive? Or does Nolan try another one of those backup breaking balls to try to get himself a key second strike? Important situation here in the bottom of the 5th. Momentum hanging in the balance. Runners go. 3-1 gets in. It hits him or the bat. Which is it? Hits the batter, and so it'll be bases loaded or, well, yes. Umpire was gesturing toward him in such a way that he might have called a foul ball, but that's not the case. Boudreaux hit by the pitch. Would have been ball 4 anyway, of course, so the base is now loaded. Riley up to second. Frascino over to third. Murphy to the plate. Murphy is 0 for 1, reached on an error last inning. Worked a walk back in the first, but batting in the biggest spot in this game so far for UMass Boston, down by a pair. Into the first pitch he sees and hits it into left field for a base hit. One runs in, they're going to send that second one. He will come in and score, and you've got a new ball game just like that on the 2 RBI single off the bat of David Murphy. So UMass Boston does the exact opposite of panic, and they come right back and get the game evened right up almost immediately with just 1 out along the way. Frashino in to score from third, Riley in from second. Boudreaux stopped at second, so now first and second with 1 away for the ever-dangerous Chris Fowler. Second hit of the inning for UMass Boston and the first to the outfield. So neither team exactly bashing it around the ballpark to score their runs, but both will take it. So Chris Fowler, the batter. Fowler 0 for 2, flew out to right field in the first inning. Struck out looking to end the third. First pitch misses downstairs for ball 1. Teams beginning to arrive for game 12 as Ramapo will play in an elimination game tonight. Of course, they fell to UMass Boston yesterday. That's why they're spectating this one and not playing, as the 1-0 pitch hits the outside corner. Now 1 ball, 1 strike. Now can UMass Boston fully leverage this opportunity and not only answer the deficit, but flip it over into what would be their first lead of the day? One ball, 1 strike, the count. Nolan fires, that one driven off the first baseman's glove, stays on the infield. So they'll have to play it station to station, but the hot smash by Fowler, not played by Hylas into an out, and so now you've got the bases loaded, another infield single by UMass Boston. 3 of their last 4 hits have been infield singles, and they've got the bases loaded with just 1 out. Fowler was right on top of that one. Hit it right on the screws on 1 hop. Good diving effort by Hylas, but he's shown you today not his strong suit, the defensive side of things over at first base. And so now the bases loaded with just 1 out for Ryan McCormick. McCormick 0 for 2, grounded out to second to end the first, and then had that foul out that really put UMass Boston's 4th inning in trouble immediately. He's out after the first pitch. He drives it into right field for a base hit. UMass Boston has its first lead. Very strong throw, prevents a second run from scoring, but Ryan McCormick pounds that one out for a hit, and the Beacons have their first lead. In to score Boudreaux, over to third Murphy, up to second Fowler, and it's now Beacons 3, Lakers 2. That brings Nick Herzog to the plate. Already the 8th batter of the inning for UMass Boston. After all that futzing around with all the walks both ways and the sacrifice fly and the infield singles, 2 very hard-hit balls on consecutive pitches put UMass Boston into the lead for the first time today. And now the chance at a truly big inning, as you've still got the bases loaded and now you've got the lead. First pitch, Herzog was thinking the same thing, but it was a changeup. Well-timed changeup by Nolan, and 0-1 on Herzog, was 0 for 2, struck out looking to lead off the second. Flew out to center field back in the 4th, which, hey, UMass Boston will take that here in a 1-out situation. Would love nothing more than a sacrifice fly to give them an insurance run, as you've seen what this Beacon bullpen can do. 0-1, he offers at the bunt, suicide squeeze, and it's an out. Now, the runners do advance, but you've got to execute there. If you put a suicide squeeze on, you can't afford to not make contact with the ball, which is exactly what Herzog did there. So it's a caught stealing 2 unassisted on Murphy for the second out of the inning. Fowler gets over to third, and McCormick up to second, so a single could still score 2. Brendan Eigabrook getting very aggressive there. And now Nolan could get out of it with just 1 pitch. Second straight inning where the Beacons have made an out on the base pass. 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed, so just what the doctor ordered. Sort of like a double play there for Nolan, has the same effect as the Beacons quickly run themselves out of what had the potential to be a major inning here in the 5th. However, they do come back, answer the 2-0 deficit, and take themselves a lead as they come up with 3 runs on the inning. They do it on 4 hits No errors, but they leave 2 men aboard at the end of 5 full innings of play. Your score now, UMass Boston 3, Oswego State 2. And remember, the Beacons already into their bullpen, so this one promises to be interesting the rest of the way. Do stay with us here on beaconsathletics.com. All right, well, welcome to 2018 playoff baseball. You know what that means, closer in the 6th inning. It's become all the rage in the game of baseball ever since Andrew Miller pioneered it for the Cleveland Indians in the 2016 Major League playoffs. It's copycat sport like they all are. And Brendan Eigabrook getting himself a taste of that here by going to Bobby Tremendozzi, his closer, in the 6th inning of a 3-2 game, and really it explains itself. You've seen what's gone on here these last 2 days. You know how razor slim the margin is, and furthermore, I've made you understand how darn important this game is. You have to win this game or you're not winning the tournament in all likelihood. Is it possible to win if you lose this game? Yes. Is it likely? No. Is it even the slightest chance of happening? Yes, but only technically, right? You have to win this game. You absolutely have to win this game. So if you're UMass Boston, you've got that chance now. You need 12 outs. You might as well stick your closer in there now while the game's on the line. So Tremendozzi is in there, and he delivers the first pitch of the inning to Miles Kutcher for a strike. You know, the closer does you no good if the middle reliever loses the lead. And this is something that, you know, when Theo Epstein first took the reins with the Boston Red Sox in 2003, this was an idea they tried to pioneer then. They just didn't have the personnel to do it. It didn't work out the first couple of games. The public revolted against them. They ended up getting away from it, sticking with just a 9th inning guy. But, you know, it's having its day again here now in the next decade, the latter half of it. And this one is fouled out of play. So there's a couple different questions here with Tremendozzi. The idea is you'd like to use him for an inning here, score 1,000,000 runs in the bottom half of the inning, and then not have to worry about it. Just go back to the middle part of your bullpen, get through the rest of the game. But when you're playing a good team in an important game, chances are that's not going to happen, right? So this one's popped up foul and out of play. Count remains at 1-2. So you have an inning-by-inning decision to make what you do with Tremendozzi. So you have a couple different decisions you have to make if you're Brendan Eigabrook. How much are you willing to throw him today? How many pitches? How many innings? And then the other thing is, what's the cutoff? If I have a 3-run lead, does he go back in? If I have a 4-run lead, does he go back in? If I have a 5-run lead, does he go back in? That answer is almost certainly no, right? And the questions lie in there somewhere. Inside corner, strike 3 to Miles Kutcher. He goes down. There's 1 out. Now if you're the Beacons, you're looking for 11 more outs. And that's why you keep rolling that closer, because you're trying to get closer and closer and closer to the finish line. And the closer you get, the more important that one insurance run could, of course, be. So 1 gone now for Eli Holton. And Joey Rogers was not able to get him either time, gave up a single in the 2nd and a walk in the 4th inning, as that first one is in for a called strike. Tremendozzi has 9 saves on the year for the Beacons. If he were to get one today, it would be the very old-fashioned way. When you go 4 innings, you actually get a save automatically regardless of the score, although this is very much a new wave save situation as he comes into just a 1-run game. Tremendozzi, a junior listed at 5'10", 190 out of Peabody, Mass. And the biggest save situation he's had all year. Goes to the curveball on 1-1. Fouled back at the screen. 2nd time today. We've gotten Gigi flinching. She's been very good in the middle. 1-2 count. See if Tremendosi fires it up here. He does. Fastball doesn't hit the outside corner. Missed off the edge now, 2-2, but you can see he's got some serious heat, particularly when he keeps that ball down low like he did there. Going to be very tough for these Oswego State hitters to deal with. 2-2 on the inside corner. Nope, missed a little bit inside. So the count now full. Important pitch here. It's all about rhythm with these power guys. You know, if they're getting strike calls, they start to build in confidence and they get harder to hit. You have a walk, could cause some problems. Curveball, swing and a miss for strike 3. Tremendosi hears me calling him a power guy, and then he goes to the finesse to get the back-to-back strikeouts as he sends Holton back to the dugout for the first time today. So 2 up, 2 down, and now here's Kevin Hylas. Hylas is 0 for 2. He struck out looking back in the second inning. That ended the second inning, and then led off last inning with a ground out. Seemed so innocent at the time, of course, right? And you heard the thump on the mitt there of McCormick as he catches that first pitch. That's the loudest whack we've heard in the catcher's mitt all day. Tremendosi definitely cranks it up to 11 when he comes in. As you hear the pop again there as that one missed down low. 1 ball and 1 strike the count with 2 out and nobody aboard in the top of the 6th inning, but it's starting to feel like the 9th with an arm like this on the mound. A bit of a slider there maybe, popped up foul my way, gets out of play behind us. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes, and this would be quite the way to get your dugout going and quite the way to make a statement as you come in if Tremendosi could in fact strike out the side in order to start what we'll call his first inning of work. 1-2, fastball down the middle, ground ball to shortstop. Tough play on the run, throw across is in plenty of time. Nicely done over at shortstop by Hughie, and it is in fact a 1-2-3 inning for Tremendosi, which is exactly what you need after a rally. Nothing across in the 6th for Oswego State, and now they are in some capital T trouble with one of the best closers in the country on the mound and trailing in a game they've got to get. At the end of 5.5, your score Beacons 3, Lakers 2. We'll take a break and come right back on beaconsathletics.com. Welcome back. Bottom of the 6th inning here. Foul ball at the dish for strike 1. Brian Nolan back to work in the 6th inning here. He'll face Wanderson Pinales, who had the mother of all infield singles. Really legged one out his last time up. 1 for 2 on the day. Flew out to right his first time up. Backdoor breaking ball that never got close there. Ended up on the backstop. 1 ball, 1 strike now the count. With nobody out, it'll be Pinales, Frashino, and Hughie, and it's almost like there's a no-hitter getting thrown right now because the intrigue is solely over on the other side right now, where you're looking to see what Tremendosi can do as the closer in this long-form situation. This has really come to define modern-day postseason baseball. In the meantime, the Beacon's trying to put up the insurance runs, but that doesn't make for good theater. 1-2 pitch, waved at and missed, strike 3. Pinales really getting himself out on a pitch well out of the zone there. So Nolan getting one of those gift outs that he really needs to keep going here. As remember, he's trying to shorten the game up now as well. Sal Frashino steps up. Frashino Two for two on the day. I gave it a single and an error in the second. It looks like they gave it a double, which you just can't do. We like Sal and all, but you just can't do it. And he got a single his last time up. Does a drag bunt here. Tough to field. Nobody's home covering first base. And so booted by Nolan, but even if he had picked it up clean, I don't know what Hylas is doing there, as he was nowhere close to where he needed to be. So Frusciano has got himself a 3-hit day out of the 8th spot in the lineup. Dragging the bunt there. And now you wonder about Charlie Hughey, because we saw him bunt in this exact situation yesterday. But that was without the lead. Today they have it. He's up with 1 out and 1 on at first base in the 6th inning. But with a 1-run lead, you're looking for that insurance. Would you give up an out here, given the fact that you're already ahead? He's showing no, and he swings and fouls this out of play. Off to the right side, no balls and a strike. Remember, UMass Boston very thirsty for that insurance run last inning, went to the suicide squeeze, didn't make contact, and made an out between third and home. Nolan got the out on the strikeout on the very next pitch. All runs in this game scored last inning, 2 in the top half by Oswego State without the benefit of a hit, thanks in large part to 4 walks and 2 wild pitches, and then UMass Boston bouncing back with their 3 in the bottom half. 0-1, they'll throw back over to first. Frusciano in safely. Oh, 1 count now on Frusciano. Nolan will throw over to first again. A 1 pitch, misses up and away. After Hughey, you take that 4th trip through the lineup, Riley Boudris Murphy, who caused all the problems and set the table last inning. Nolan's 1-1, fouled back. Nolan could really use another strikeout here. It's how he's gotten the last 2 outs he's recorded in this game. Could really stand to get one here before he goes back up to the top of the lineup. One, two, down in the dirt. Blocked there by Olsen. Just a word on the fog, so you may be able to see at home. It really has abated. You can see the water again past the left field fence. You can see the houses on the other side of the bay again. You weren't able to do that back in the top half of the 5th inning, so hopefully that'll be a non-factor the rest of the way, but on Cape Cod, one just never knows. 2-2 your count here on Hughey. Nolan checks in over at first again. Spending an awful lot of time looking in that direction rather than to home plate. Nolan kicks his 2-2, popped up and fouled out of play. So we'll get at least one more here. Playing soccer over on the multi-purpose field behind us. Hopefully none of them have to duck a foul ball. Two will wait as they throw over to first base instead. Runner goes, 2-2 pitch, a good one to handle, throw down to second, in time for the out. High ball up and away, exactly what you want if you're Olsen, and he cuts down Frusciano. Second out of the inning. Pitch was a ball, so now a 3-2 count on Hughey. And could we see for a second inning in a row, Nolan end up turning a double play with a caught stealing and a strikeout on the next pitch? 3 straight innings where UMass Boston has made outs on the bases. payoff pitch is raised to shallow center field. And again, the Beacon's going to take themselves out of an inning for the third inning in a row. So they still have the lead, but you wonder how much opportunity they've left on the table over these last 3 innings. No runs in the inning on a hit, no errors, and none left. And we're at the end now of 6 full innings of play. Your score still UMass Boston 3, Oswego State 2. Tramandozzi coming back on for the 7th when we return on beaconsathletics.com. A nice homage to our departed color commentator, Sean Manfredo. No Sleep Till Brooklyn playing over the public address here at Hendy Field, which is where he preferred to be than with us today. I know. The man made a decision. What can I say? In the meantime, we've got ourselves a dandy of a game as we head to the late frames. 3-2 the score in favor of UMass Boston over Oswego State, and Bobby Tramandozzi, who went 1-2-3 in the 6th inning, is back on for the 7th. Their closer in a 1-run game, and you think he's got a hitter flustered? Olson's bat flies all the way down to third base. That is both a swing and a miss, 0-1. So he's got to go get his bat back now. And so you have that. You bring the closer into the 1-run game, you do the whole Andrew Miller thing, and it works in the 6th inning, so you do that, but also you get in the opponent's heads with that a little bit because they know it's the closer, they know the situation, and they know how important the game is. So sometimes you can get a little bit of an added advantage there, and you get that edge of, the hitters are up there not just approaching their at-bat, they're thinking, aw shucks, I'm facing a closer in the 7th inning. And sometimes that can make something happen, like the bat go flying out of your hands like it just did to Lucas Olson right there. Now, Olson's yet to put the ball in play. He struck out looking to lead off the 3rd inning. He worked a walk, ended up coming around to score the first run of the game back in the 5th. He scored on the sacrifice fly by Enos. It's Olson, Whalen, and Enos, the scheduled hitters. It's that same 8, 9, and 1 that caused all the trouble back in the 5th inning. Tramandozzi working out of the windup, steps and deals right down the middle. This one belted but foul. Home run distance but foul. Tramandozzi getting away with one there. Remember, I told you, tantalizingly short fence in straightaway left field down the line to the pole. And all you'd have to do is turn one around to tie this game up. But Olson now in the hole 0-2. We'll see if they try to go down low. Sinker misses in the dirt. Good take by Olson. Winner of this one advances to the championship round tomorrow, where they'll get a chance to win 1 game to take the title and head on to Appleton, Wisconsin for the 2018 College World Series. 1-2 pitch, check swing, did keep it close enough to his shoulder. Ball too low. Tramandozzi started last inning with back-to-back strikeouts of Kutcher and Holton before getting Hylas to ground out. 2-2 pitch, curveball, grounded foul. So Olson making him work here, which is what you want any leadoff hitter to do, but particularly in this situation when you're dealing with a guy that typically only throws an inning or 2, thinking about maybe throwing 4 today, you want to be able to wear him down sooner rather than later, and that's what Olson's trying to do here. 6th pitch of the at-bat, 2-2 fastball down low, and it'll be a 7-pitch at-bat. Really couldn't ask for better from this than this from Olson here. Although Oswego now going to ask him for a little more. Going to ask him to get on base. 3-2 pitch. Swung on a miss. Strike 3. Handcuffed him with the changeup. And Tramandozzi waiting for the perfect time to unleash that one as he picks up his 3rd strikeout in the 4 batters he's faced. Olsen well out in front of it, just couldn't make the adjustment as he was swinging through the zone. Knew as soon as that bat started coming through that he'd been fooled. One away for Zach Whalen. Whalen also 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a walk. Similar deal. He's out after the first one and he fouls it back. And he hit the top of our tent here because it knocked the puddle off of it. Fortunately, most everything is okay. 0-1 pitch swinging. Hits this one the other way to right field, and it's caught out there by Pinellas in right field. So 2 up, 2 down after Olsen was so patient. Whalen comes up free swinging, and he's back in the dugout. 5 up, 5 down for Tramandozzi through the 6th and now into the 7th. So Ryan Enos, the batter. Enos 1 for 2 with an RBI, popped out to second in the first inning, singled in the third, and then made that calculated decision to swing at a 3-0 pitch to hit a sacrifice fly to get Oswego State on the board back in the 5th inning. Gave them the lead at the time. And you just wonder in an alternate reality if he takes that pitch and maybe takes the next one against a pitcher that was crashing and burning. That was the only out sandwiched in between 4 walks. What might have come from that inning for Oswego State. They got the 2 runs, but obviously not enough given the fact that they gave up 3 in the bottom half. So Tramandozzi getting some rhythm now, back up on top of the rubber. Looking to deal with his 0-2 pitch. Here it is. Ground ball through the hole on the left side and into left field. So a seeing eye single by Enos, his second hit of the ball game, as he spoils an 0-2 pitch and keeps the inning alive for Oswego State as Nicholson will step up, and now Tramandozzi will have to deal with a base runner for the first time today. Interesting scenario here. Nicholson is 0 for 1, struck out looking back in the first inning. Since then, he's worked a pair of walks in innings 3 and 5. Enos, the potential tying run aboard at first base. Keep an eye on him, Tramandozzi. Not going to worry about him too much. Slide steps into the fastball, driven to shallow left. That'll get down for a base hit. No choice but to go station to station as it fell right in front of Herzog. So a nice low liner like they teach you to do in beer league softball because nobody's going to catch it. Nicholson aboard at first, Enos up to second, and you've got first and second now with 2 out for Mike Delicari. Now Delicari worked a key walk back in the 5th inning, but then the strikeout ended up spoiling what remained of the threat after they scored the 2 runs. Delicari also struck out to end the first and grounded out to end the third. Tramandozzi trying to get out of some trouble now. Hasn't been rocked, but has given up back-to-back hits and gets that first one in on the curve for strike 1. Had a dominant start, 1-2-3 last inning. Got the first 2 batters he faced here, but then the seeing eye single and the low liner have put runners to first and second with 2 away. Now potentially a single could tie it. 0-1 bounces in the dirt and a good block there by McCormick. Remember, the wild pitches were the secret sauce for the rally for Oswego State back in the 5th inning. Almost got one there. Great effort by McCormick to keep it away from the backstop. Tramandozzi looking to knuckle down and get through the 7th. This 1-1 pitch. Down low, did it hit him or did it get away? Which is worse? The ball gets back to the backstop. Base runner jogging down to first base. They've called time. And has he been awarded first base or not? He's standing at first. Home plate umpire calling in the first base umpire. And now all the umpires going to get together. You have to have a call made there immediately. You didn't get it. And now we'll see, was this a dead ball and a hit by pitch, or was it a wild pitch which would keep the batter at the plate? As you see the waterfall there right in front of our camera, it's not raining. It just is blowing down off of our tent. It bubbles up over your head. When you have these little pop-up tents, you get that sometimes. And now we'll see, they're going to send the batter back into the box, are they, or are they not? We'll see. First base is empty at the moment, so that would lend you to believe that Delicari is still at the plate. If it is, that is the case, so it's 2-1. So it's a wild pitch. And now Brendan Igebroek coming out of the dugout saying, hey, what's going on? Both coaches speaking to the umpires. And Jamie Williams comes running in. go lumbering back to first as we'll wait on a 2-1 pitch. So it's another wild pitch, and it sets Oswego State up in such a way that now a base hit could potentially win them the game. Of course, a lot of outs to go get. We are in just the top of the 7th. It feels later than it is because you got a closer out there. But a base hit could make all the difference now if Delicari could ever squeeze one through. And don't think the second baseman doesn't know it. Murphy back several steps on the outfield grass. 2-1 hit foul. Foul ball now 2-2. Murphy is way back there, off the dirt and into the outfield because he does not want to allow that ground ball single that could let 2 runs come in and score. And in fact, the Beacons have shifted that defense over. Hughie is almost behind second base. He's gone so far over, so they'll give up the single the other way. 2-2 pitch, slap foul, out of play, left side. Almost no foul territory here at Hendy Field. And that can be to a hitter's advantage as you try to spoil hard fastballs and 2-strike counts over and over again. Two-two pitch. Hit to right field. High, deep, is it fair? Foul. Deep and home run distance to right field, but foul. That's why you didn't hear the eruption out of the Oswego dugout, and what an eruption it would have been. 3-run Tater would have put you up by 2 late. Instead, it remains a 2-ball, 2-strike count. In a 3-2 ball game, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and how's this for tournament play? Top seed using its closer in the 6th inning of a 1-run game. He gets through the 6th, now trying to white-knuckle his way through the 7th. The tying and go-ahead runs both in scoring position. Delicari at the plate, the lefty. Tramandozzi looks in for his sign. They set up. Here comes the 2-2. Taken the other way, down for a base hit, and Oswego State will regain the lead. Beacons had shifted their defense. They've got no chance at the second run. It'll come in and score, and strolling into second base with the go-ahead double is Mike Delicari, and Oswego State goes back in the lead by the score of 4-3. Now remember, Delicari was content to settle for first base on the hit by pitch. They put him back in the box, had him swing again, and he ends up doing even better for himself with a 2 RBI double. Enos scores. Nicholson scores. Delicari down at second, and now maybe you're just a single away from an insurance run yourselves if you're Oswego State. John Barnes, the cleanup hitter, steps up. He's out after the first one, drives it into left center. That gets down. It'll roll and roll some more all the way to the wall. In to score from second is Delicari. Headed to second is Barnes. And that huge insurance run is on the board for Oswego State as they come back with 3 of their own in the top of the 7th against the Beacons closer. And they now lead it 5-3. Another twist, another turn in this terrific Game 11. Again, far from finished. UMass Boston has the last at bat in this game. And they've come back every time they've been challenged in this tournament so far. They're being challenged again now in the late innings of this all-important Game 11. You wonder how things might have been different had they ruled a hit by pitch as opposed to the wild pitch on Delicari. Would have given you bases loaded, and remember, Barnes was out swinging first pitch because that's what he'd seen before him. These hitters know they've got Tramandozzi on the ropes right now, and if they see something to hit, they're swinging. If the kitchen's open, eat. And right now it's open. Kutcher at the plate. 0 for 3, struck out looking his last time up. First pitch, they take a first pitch. A little surprising to see them not go after a first ball fastball there. Kutcher takes it inside for strike 1. Tramandozzi now has to try to keep it here in a 2-run scenario and hope that the Beacons can put up another crooked number today. 0-1 fastball, grounded foul. No balls, 2 strikes. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Barnes leaning out over home plate. They'll set up away. Tramandozzi steps, he fires, goes to the curveball there, and getting just a piece of it was Kutcher to stay alive. This has felt like the end of the game ever since Tramandozzi came in. It bears repeating, this is only the top of the 7th. So much can still happen in this game. Tramandozzi out of the stretch. Kicks and deals. That one lined into left field for another base hit. Late jump for Barnes. They're going to send him anyway. The throw is not in time. Sliding in underneath is Barnes. Taking second on the throw is Kutcher, and Oswego keeps pouring it on. They now lead it 6-3 in a 4-run 7th inning. Strong enough throw, but there was just enough room. The ball stayed just high enough for Barnes to dive in underneath it. RBI single for Kutcher, and the Beacons in some trouble here in the 7th. Taking that extra base on the throw was Kutcher, so now he could score on a single. And how many more batters does Tramandozzi get to face as he's now getting pounded around, hits to each of the last 5 batters he's faced? Just has not been the same since he's had to switch over to the stretch from the windup. Puts that one on the inside corner to Holton. No balls, 1 strike. And remember, you saw Kaufman go 3 innings yesterday, so you wonder, is he available in this game? They'd like to stay away from him. Can you afford to? Wild pitch, not close. 4th wild pitch issued by UMass Boston pitching today. 2 in each of Oswego State's run-scoring innings. Kutcher over to third. Got your insurance runs. Now you start to think about grand slam range. If Holton could crank one over the left field fence, this might be out of reach. That one down in the dirt. McCormick has to go get another one. 2-1 the count on Holton. Holton, the 8th Laker batter of the inning. Beacons need a 3rd out. Now remember, UMass Boston's run into outs on the base pass the last 3 innings. As this one hit off the fat part of the bat to center field. Looks like it will stay in all the way back to the warning track. Is Fruscino making the catch for the out that ends the inning, but for Oswego State, what a 7th inning it was as they come up with 4 runs in the inning, and they do it the hard way as they bash out 5 consecutive hits, no errors, and they leave just the 1 man on base. 7th inning stretch time here from Hendy Field. Your score now, Oswego State 6, UMass Boston 3. Can the Beacons answer again? They've done it once. They need to do it again. We'll find out when we return on beaconsathletics.com. All right, so all's well right now for Oswego State, but eventually you had to make the move to the bullpen, and now they've done so. They got 6 very good innings out of Brian Nolan, and now they turn it over to their bullpen. Mike Abrams, the 6'2", 190-pound senior out of Belmore, New York, is tasked with trying to make this lead stand up. 6-3, the largest lead of the game for Oswego State. They led by 2 briefly, but the Beacons came back with 3 of their own to take a lead at the end of the 5th. Pitch is in for a called strike 1 to Eddie Riley, so it is the top third of the order coming for the Beacons here in the 7th. Riley, Boudris, and Murphy. They're the ones who kick-started things for the offense back in the 5th inning, as this one's fouled out of play to the right side. Riley is 0 for 2. Struck out swinging in the 1st inning, grounded out back to the mound in the 3rd. Walked and came around to score the tying run in that 3-run 5th for UMass Boston. 0-2 pitch, just off the outside corner for ball 1. That would have been a strike yesterday, right? Beacons glad it's not yesterday. One-two curveball in there, and that was dirty. Riley not a chance on that one. Terrific pitch by Abrams.
Good designated hitter number 15, Kyle Boudris.
So Riley down looking, 1 gone in the 7th. Kyle Boudris now the batter. Boudris 1 for 2, singled his first time up in the 1st inning. Takes a called strike on the outside corner. Grounded out to first base his last time up in the 3rd, was hit by a pitch, came around and scored what was the go-ahead run at the time back in the 5th inning, now no longer. As the Beacons relinquish the lead in the top half, allowing 4. 2 in the 5th, 4 in the 7th for Oswego State. Beacons scored all 3 of their runs in the bottom half of the 5th. 1-1 pitch, hit on the ground, routine at second base, but bodied up there. Of course, it's a little slick. Good recovery by Nicholson. And he throws on to Hylas in time for the 2nd out. So a rally's only a rally if you can go get those next 3 outs, as Joe Torre always used to say. In his days managing the Yankees, you put up that big number, you need to see the 0 after it for it to really be a rally. Of course, it didn't happen for the Lakers back in the 2nd inning, as they ended up giving up more than they scored in the 5th. But here they've got a chance if they can get 1 more out to take full command of this game headed to the 8th inning. Abrams, a good over-the-top fastball. That is a true over-the-top delivery. You don't see that many of those these days, and like so many relievers will, he goes out of the stretch right away, even with the bases empty. He's got Murphy 0-1. Murphy singled his last time up. Really a turning point in this game if you think about it. Murphy was on at 3rd base, broke for home on a suicide squeeze that went horribly awry, no contact, and he was put out. As this one is hit to center field or right field or any field, it's gone, long gone. That's why I couldn't tell you. Nobody had any chance at that, deep out of here to right center. So David Murphy takes one big bite out of the deficit and makes it 6-4 with 1 swing. Got to really wallop it to get it out of here with this kind of dense air. And he did a massive opposite field bomb for Murphy, and it's now a 6-4 ball game. Want that 0 after a rally. Oswego State did not get it. And of course, much easier to come back from down 2 late than down 3. Chris Fowler now the batter. Fowler 1 for 3, singled his last time up. Ended up getting left at 3rd as he takes a ball low. His single is really what set the stage for the Beacons to take the lead. Loaded the bases. McCormick, who's on deck, gave them the go-ahead hit when he came up next. So much, of course, has changed since then. 1-0 pitch, belted. That one's got a shot to right center. No, it'll stay in, and a reaching catch made in right by Delicari for the out that retires the side. So the Beacons do get 1 back on the big fly by David Murphy, but they remain trailing by 2. 1 run on 1 loud, long hit, no errors, and none left aboard at the end of 7 full here in Buzzards Bay. Your score, Oswego State 6, UMass Boston 4. We head to the 8th when we return on beaconsathletics.com. So Bobby Tramendozzi's day is done. Oswego State has not only gotten to the closer, they've chased him. And now the ball goes to Joe McGuire, a 6'2", 200-pound junior right-hander also out of Peabody, Mass. And he will deal with the bottom third of the Oswego State lineup here in the eighth. Kevin Hylas, Lucas Olson, and Zach Whalen, 7, 8, and 9 in their order. As now UMass Boston just trying to keep it close. They did whittle it down a little bit, getting the one on the solo shot in the bottom half of last inning. As Hylas lines that one straight back at the backstop. No balls and one strike now the count. Lucas Olson waiting on deck, then Zach Whalen. McGuire's 0-1, low and away. Beacon's just trying to hold it right here at 6-4. They've got McCormick, Herzog, and Pinellas coming up next inning. Certainly they've got the potential to come back. But UMass Boston's done a lot of things here that a lot of times result in losing baseballs. The 1-1 misses in pretty much that same spot. Think about the 2 times that they had giveaway outs to start innings, and then the 3 consecutive innings with runners caught stealing on the base paths, and the 2 times that the inning ended on the very next pitch. 2-1, misses inside. 3 balls, 1 strike here on Hylas. Hylas 0 for 3. They'd love to get him on with a walk if they could. McGuire deals and deals that dreaded leadoff walk. Hylas, who was 0 for 3, hadn't gotten the ball out of the infield, gets the free pass, and the Lakers are in business again. Lucas Olson, the batter. Lucas drew one of those huge walks that got things started in the 5th inning. Remember, Oswego State scored 2 runs without a hit in the 5th inning, 4 walks and 2 wild pitches. Manufactured their first 2 runs of the day, and perhaps not coincidentally, it's a 2-run difference in this game right now. So you wonder, might Olson be bunting? You've got the 2-run lead, you've got it late, you need 6 more outs to win the game. Do you play for that 3rd run? Right now it looks like a yes, but the ball misses outside, so McGuire's got to show you he can throw strikes before you start giving away outs via the bunt. Whalen on deck is also 0 for 2 today. Up at the top of the lineup, though, Enos has 2 hits and also a sacrifice fly. So that's where the Lakers are trying to get. Back up to the top of the lineup in this inning with a man or 2 aboard. Winner of this one advances to the championship round and has to win just 1 more game to go to the College World Series, as this one popped foul out of play. In stark contrast, if you lose this game, you've got to win twice tomorrow and then again on Monday, and you've got to beat the team you're playing right now twice down the line. Oftentimes just too tall an order for a team, no matter how good you are, just because of how deep you have to go on pitching. 1-1 curveball on the inside corner, throw down to second. It was a little bit too far up the baseline. Looked to be in time, but just thrown to a bad spot. And so Hylas gets down there and steals second base. They are definitely willing to play small to add 1 more run to the lead. One ball, 2 strikes, nobody out so far. In the 8th inning, Hylas, a big insurance run, standing in scoring position at second. Olson could maybe single him in if he could get something to handle. McGuire deals and again misses away. He's consistently been away, hasn't had much control of the movement on these pitches he's throwing to the outer part. Keeps missing in the left-handed batter's box to the right-handed hitter. 2-2 pitch goes to the hook again, and Olson bails him out there by swinging at it. Probably would have been ball 3, and about the same spot as all the others have been. UMass Boston trying to come from behind for the 2nd time in as many days. Of course, yesterday it was just the 1 run, and they had from the 2nd inning on to fight back. Much different story here today as Oswego State put up 4 in the top of the 7th. 2-2 pitch. Fastball misses low and in. And so you've got a full count. Walks have been killer for UMass Boston pitching today. They've issued 7 of them so far as a staff. McGuire trying to stay away from an 8th right here. He'll throw back to second. They've got a chance. Got him at second base. Huge out down at second as Hylas caught napping. And so the stolen base ends up hurting him because if he wasn't at second, he couldn't have been picked off second. A huge first out of the 8th inning for UMass Boston. Put out goes 1-6, and a great job by Hughie of tiptoeing in behind. Can McGuire turn it into a second out now? Payoff pitch, misses low and outside. So back-to-back walks, but Oswego State with relatively little to show for it. Thanks to the pickoff, just the one runner aboard at first base. So how much longer is McGuire's leash as he issues back-to-back walks to start his outing? Walks 7 and 8 of the day by the staff. The starter, Rogers, issued 6 in just 4 1/3 innings of work. Swing and a fly ball deep to left field. Going back is Herzog. He's looking up and watching it fly. Home run off the bat of the 9-hitter, Zach Whalen, as Oswego State keeps pouring it on in the late innings. 2 more on the board, and they take a commanding 8-4 lead in the 8th. After having no extra base hits all day, you've got home runs in back-to-back half innings. And adding insult to injury for the Beacons as it comes from the 9 slot in the order. Now a 4-run lead at 8-4. And if not for that pickoff, this game might be over right now. So Ryan Enos steps to the plate, 2 for 3 with the RBI sacrifice fly back in the 5th. If that runner doesn't get picked off, you're talking about a 3-run homer. You're talking about no out in the inning. And you're talking about a 5-run lead that's outside Grand Slam range. So for as bad as things are for UMass Boston, they could be just totally wrecked had they not gotten that one out that they did get. Now McGuire, you wonder where is that balance in a normal, in a regular season situation. You'd say, hey, we've got more games to play tomorrow. You've just got to fall on the grenade for us the rest of the way today, and you've got to figure your own way out of this. Here, in a game this important, I don't know that you can afford to do that because you need to win this game. But at what point is it unrealistic? Ground ball to second base, and up with it is Murphy. He throws on to first for the second out. You're in a place right now where Brendan Eigebrot has to make a lot of decisions he doesn't want to make because you're weighing a bad option against another bad option. You don't want to chase this win too much and throw too much to your frontline pitching, but of course they've already done that, having used Tramandosi for 2 innings. You don't want to go hurting your chances tomorrow by chasing after a win you're not going to get today. But on the other hand, it's such a huge advantage if you ever did come back and win this one that you don't want to sell yourself short and wave the white flag too early. 1-0 pitch, popped up. Might be playable here. McCormick hustling back. That's going to get us on the 10th instead and roll just behind us. 1 ball, 1 strike now the count. As he quite literally hit the cover off of that ball. There's a shaving off of the leather on that one. So they needed to take it out of the game anyway. 1-1 pitch. Misses down low. And it's now 2 balls and a strike. If Nicholson could reach here to extend the inning, Delicari would bat next. UMass Boston tried to nurse that 3-2 lead all the way to the finish line, did not end up coming close. Got through the 6th 1-2-3 with Tramandosi, but he hit the wall in the 7th, gave up 5 hits to 5 consecutive batters. That got Oswego State out 6-3 at the 7th inning stretch. Beacons came back, took back 1 run on the homer off the bat of Murphy, but Oswego's added 2 more now on a home run of their own by Whalen. Ground ball right back to the mound. Look what I found, says McGuire, and he shovels over to first for the out that retires the side, but Oswego State delivers another big body blow to UMass Boston here in the 8th inning as they come up with 2 more runs on the loud, long home run from the 9-hitter Zach Whalen. 2 runs on just the 1 hit, no errors, and none left on. And think about this, the combination of innings 5 and 8, they've scored 4 runs on just 1 hit. And UMass Boston up against it now, down by 4 when we come back on beaconsathletics.com. Ryan McCormick, the batter, as we welcome you back. Beacon's going to need some magic here if they are to extend their incredible streak, 10-0 in New England Regional play. They ran the table 4-0 in Mansfield, Connecticut in 2010, 4-0 in Harwich last year, 2-0 so far, having played the first one on their home field back on Thursday night. And, of course, they got the win yesterday in Harwich. But Oswego State 6 outs away from changing that as this one misses low, but there's 6 big outs that you've got to get. Now, Abrams got through the 7th inning, giving up just the solo home run to Murphy, but at least it was a solo. They've since increased the lead and now lead 8-4. As the next pitch misses low and away, it's McCormick, Herzog, and Pinellas, 5, 6, and 7 in the UMass Boston lineup. 2-1 pitch, misses up and away. UMass Boston put all the chips in the middle of the table in the 6th inning, putting their closer out there, trying to protect a 1-run lead. He got through the 6th, did not get through the 7th. 3-1 pitch, misses low, and there's a leadoff walk. So again, we're far from finished here, as UMass Boston has certainly shown you an ability to put together some big innings in their own right this year, 36-8 for a reason. McCormick aboard, and now Nick Herzog, the batter. Herzog is 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts and a fly out to center sandwiched in between. Has not batted since the 5th inning, and that was the run-scoring inning for UMass Boston. Fastball in at the knee for a called strike 1. Beacon's going to need a big inning here, and they might need more than one big inning to get this done. So you're not trying to swing for the fences necessarily. You're trying to decorate the bases, try to set up for a big hit later in the inning, as that one's in for a called strike 2. In the meantime, any out's a good out for Abrams, whether you get a strikeout or you give up a fly ball that goes 350 feet. Any way you can get an out with a 4-run lead, you take one. Runner bluffs is 0-2, just misses off the outside edge. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Pinellas is 1 for 3 on the day with an infield single. He waits on deck. Or does he? He is not in the on-deck circle. Looks like the Beacons would pinch hit as they've got Cesare, who started yesterday in the on-deck circle. Killer pitch on the inside corner, did not get a strike call. And now it's 2-2 on Herzog. Pitch was a little low, a little inside, but one that certainly freezes a hitter. He had no chance of hitting it. So Abrams looking to make a pitch. Here's his 2-2. Grounded, that's a fair ball. Curving, going to be tough to play. Pitcher went to the slide to get it, so he had no chance to make a throw. It's an infield single for Nick Herzog. And the Beacons have the table set if they are to come back here in the 8th inning. Runners at first and second, nobody out. And as I mentioned, now they will go to the bench and they will pinch hit. And it'll be Anthony Cesare, who got the start in yesterday's game, coming in favor of Wanderson Pinellas, who finishes up the day just 1 for 3. So Cesare, the pinch hitter, coming to the plate with first and second, nobody out, and a great chance for UMass Boston to try to come back here. Cesare did have a hit in the game yesterday. He went 1 for 4 on the day. McCormick after the walk at second, Herzog at first after the swinging bunt put him aboard. Beacon's trying to make something out of nothing here in the 8th. First pitch in for a called strike 1. After Cesare will be Frasino, and if they can keep it going, Hughie down the bottom of the lineup. A 1 pitch, belted high and deep to center field, looks to be playable in center, reaching up and making the catch is Barnes. Gets the throw in quickly, no advancement by the runners. Cesare gave it a ride, that's why you pinch hit, but not quite enough to get it out of here, at least not today. On a warm, sunny day, maybe that's a 3-run tater. Instead, it's just the first out, and that brings it to Sal Frasino. Frasino is 3 for 3 on the day, incredibly. Hit that ground ball that skimmed the top of the first base bag in the 2nd inning. Singled, stole a bag, scored in the 5th, and then came up with a single as well in the 6th. Can he find another one in this key spot? Very nearly a balk there by Abrams as he steps off. Beacons with 2 runners aboard, and you wonder if maybe they might mobilize those runners to try to turn up the heat on Abrams. Cause some chaos out on the bases. Remember, Beacons have been caught stealing 3 times already in this game, including a suicide squeeze as that one misses away. 1 ball, no strikes the count as the runners get their leads. Abrams out of the stretch, checks the runner at second, comes to the plate. Fastball misses outside. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Runners at first and second, 8-4, the Oswego State lead. Beacons, the home team, they have the benefit of last ups, but they'd like to at least take some of this deficit away here in the 8th before they'd have to go win it in the 9th. 2-0, big cut by Frasino, way out in front of the breaking ball. 2-1. Hughie on deck, Eddie Riley in the hole. Neither of them with a hit today. Beacons needing some production from the bottom of the lineup after McCormick and Herzog set the table to start the inning. 2-1, slap foul the other way. Every out of such paramount importance now for Abrams and Oswego State. Both of these teams, College World Series teams a year ago because they played in different regionals. So this is an Appleton quality game that you're getting in Buzzards Bay here a week early. It's been that from the beginning. 2-2 pitch. Swung on line. Caught at second base. Nearly a double play, but back to second safely is McCormick. So that one just stayed on the infield forever. That's another one on a nicer day. Maybe it squeaks into center field and it's a base hit. Instead, hangs up there in the thick air today, and over to get it was Nicholson, and now there are 2 out. So that leaves it up to Charlie Hughie. We saw Oswego State get a massive hit from a 9-hitter as Zach Whalen hit a 2-run homer last inning. Could Charlie Hughie do something similar here with 2 on and now 2 out? Hughie 0 for 3 today with a couple of flyouts to right his last 2 times up, and he takes strike 1. And coming back in the 9th inning is just so much easier when the deficit is smaller. Coming back from down 4 is almost impossible. Down 3, very difficult. Down 2, hard. Down 1, doable. And, of course, if you're tied or ahead, all the easier. 0-1 is popped up, playable in right field. Should be caught out there in the fog. It is caught by Delicari. So the Beacons set the table, but they don't clean up. No runs in the inning. On the 1 hit, no errors, and 2 very important runners left on base. We've played 8 full from Buzzards Bay. Your score remains Oswego State 8, UMass Boston 4. Beacons in a world of hurt. Going to try to keep it at 4 when we come back on beaconsathletics.com. UMass Boston now will go deeper into its bullpen. They'll use their 4th reliever of the day, senior Alex Carasudo, a right-hander out of Pittsfield, Mass., will take the mound. After an ineffective inning by Joe McGuire's really put them behind the 8 ball. McGuire walked the first 2 batters he faced and then gave up a home run, which mercifully for UMass Boston was only a 2-run homer because they had picked off the lead runner from second base. Looked at the time like that might turn the momentum a little bit. You know, the Beacons had taken 1 run back. It was 6-4 in that moment. You had the bases empty for a hot minute, but then you had the walk, then you had the home run. Now UMass Boston comes up, fails to score in the bottom of the 8th, and now they're in big trouble here in the 9th, down 8-4. But they will turn to the senior to try to keep the game right here. And Carasuto's job is simple. He's just got to keep Oswego State off the board. Now, Oswego will play this like it's a tie game, and what I mean by that is if they get a base runner on, particularly if they get the leadoff man on, they're going to play small for the one run because it's all about grand slam range. You want to get this to a 5-run scenario because if you can get the lead off of 4 runs and up to 5, it's going to be almost impossible to come back from. They call it slam range because that means you can no longer tie the game with a grand slam. You load the bases, you hit a home run, then it would be 9-8 instead of 8-8, and you'd still be in a position of advantage. You can change pitchers, do whatever you need to do. So Oswego State certainly knows that. If they get a chance to scratch one more run, they're going to do it. But they're free swinging at the side armor, and this one belted to right field and gone. First pitch swinging is Mike Delacari. He had that huge double his last time up, and he launches this one out of here to right center field. The 3rd home run in as many innings, the 2nd by Oswego State, and they have taken this out of slam range as they on one pitch bump the lead up to 5 at 9-4. Two home runs and 4 batters for Oswego State, and they now lead it 9-4, and they have come on late in a big way. Did not score in the first 4 innings. They've now put up 9 over the last 5 as John Barnes, the batter, takes a couple of balls high. It's now 2-0. They scored twice in the 5th, did not score in the 6th, and then have pounded out 4 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and now 1 in the 9th to take a commanding 9-4 lead. Check swing foul ball there by Barnes. It'll be Barnes, Kusher, and now Eli Holton. Now, UMass Boston does not have to play in the next game, even if they lose this one. That matchup is already set. It's going to be Ramapo and Keystone playing in that one. That was determined by action earlier today. But if the Beacons were to lose this game, they would have to take on the winner of that game first thing tomorrow in an elimination game to try to get back and play Oswego again, and then they'd have to beat Oswego twice, a rather unenviable task, as you're seeing here today. 2-2 pitch hit on the ground, and that one has got eyes on it. Deep play made in the hole, but no chance at the out. It'll be an infield single. Throw gets away, but not far enough away. So Barnes legs out that infield hit. Terrific effort by Hughie over at shortstop, but you're just not going to get anybody that can run any faster than me out when it's hit down that deep into the hole, and that's exactly what happened there for Barnes. So he's aboard, still nobody out. And Miles Kutcher now the batter. He is 1 for 4 on the day, had an RBI single his last time up in the 7th inning. And now you're in that situation I was talking about last inning if you're Brendan Nygabrote, where, normally you'd like to make a pitching change here, but you also have to think about if you have to come win 2 games tomorrow and then another one on Monday, you've got to save every bullet you can save, as that one misses in the dirt. Going down to second on the wild pitch is Barnes. That's the 5th wild pitch of the day, issued by UMass Boston pitching. Runner in scoring position. So, you want to come back here, but at the same time you have to be realistic. Maybe you tell Carasuto, if you give up 5 runs this inning, so be it. We need to save everybody else for tomorrow. Those are the kinds of choices you end up having to make. Time called before that pitch, which is actually a break for Carasuto because he missed outside with it. Would have been ball 2. Best way in tournament play is to take a big lead early, and then you can manage it in ways where you can not only win that game, but you can tailor your position to be as strong as you can be the next day. That's just not happened here today for UMass Boston, to say the least. They had a very brief lead at 3-2, responded when challenged, went down 2-0 in the top of the 5th, came back with 3 in the bottom of the 5th. But Oswego State just a step up from the competition the Beacons have been playing around here all year. A lot of lesser teams will fold if you fight back once. That did not happen with the Lakers today. Runner goes, and he'll steal third uncontested. Wow. Pitch is called a strike, but Barnes goes right over and takes third. Now you wonder about the Beacons on the mental side of things. Are they defeated already, given what you just saw right there? 2-1 now the count. Usually, you'd never risk third base with nobody out in the inning, but there, Barnes thought he had a jump. He goes and he gets it. 2-1 the count. A very soft pitch, and it gets hit a long way. Run will score one way or the other. It gets down in center field for a base hit. Literally jogging home with the 10th run is John Barnes as Miles Kutcher delivers the RBI single. And this is just plain gotten too easy for Oswego State here in the ninth. Still nobody out. And like I was saying, no good option. Now if you're UMass Boston, this game's out of hand. Realistically speaking, you're not going to win this game. Stranger things have happened, yes, but you can't manage this the way you would manage a tie game or a one-run game. You can't afford to. You need Karasuto to get you these 3 outs, and he's shown you little evidence that those are coming with what you've seen so far. A home run and then back-to-back singles, so now here's Eli Holton in a 10-4 game. He's out after the first one, but well out in front of it, and he swings through it for strike one. Holton singled back in the second, worked a walk, and was picked off in the 4th inning, struck out swinging in the 6th, and it flew out to center in the 7th. Beacons were hoping big that Tramandozzi could give them 2, 3, maybe 4 innings of work in a one-run game as the closer. If this had been a 6-inning game, they would have won, but we're still playing 9. 0-1 the count here on Holton. Karasuto ready. Is 0-1. Some soft stuff again, and that one tapped foul down low. No balls, 2 strikes. Double play could go a long way toward curing what ails the Beacons right now, but there's nothing you can do about that line score. 4 multi-run innings for Oswego State today, aided by home runs in each of the last 2 frames, and they now lead it 10-4. 0-2 pitch. We'll see if he can keep it down again. He does. Induces a ground ball to a tough spot. They'll go to second for 1, back to first late. And so it's a fielder's choice. Kutcher is cut down 5-4 at long last. We've got 1 out here in the 9th inning. And Holton replaces Kutcher at first base. 1 down now for Kevin Hylas. Hylas is 0 for 3. Walked and was picked off a second base last time up. That looked like it was going to be a big momentum change in UMass Boston's favor, but that has proven to be as far from the truth as possible. He gets picked off a second base in a 2-run game, emptied the bases with 1 out. You're thinking UMass Boston just scored. They've got a chance for momentum now. No, you had a walk, then a home run, and it's been an avalanche since then in Oswego State's favor. They'll throw back over to first as Holton walks back into the bag. So UMass Boston, as it stands right now, looking at potentially having to play an elimination game first thing tomorrow against whomever wins our nightcap tonight between Keystone and Ramapo, whom UMass Boston dispatched in 10 innings yesterday. Keystone, not sure you want to play them on a Cape League diamond, as they're coached by Jamie Shevchik, who is the field manager of the reigning Cape Cod Baseball League champion Brewster Whitecaps, which still sounds weird to say. So they won their first since 2000 last summer in a nail-biter of a 3-game series over the Bourne Braves. A 1 pitch, waved at and missed for strike 2. An off-balance swing there by Hylas, and you can see there for Karasuto, that's what he's got to do. He's not going to overpower you with a fastball, so he's got to locate, and he's got to keep you guessing on pitch variety and location. And when he's been able to keep it down, he's been able to stymie some hitters, but wasn't fooling anybody at the beginning. Home run, single, 2 runs already in. Karasuto stepping off, and you can hear that chirping now from the Oswego State dugout as they're getting emboldened by what's gone on here in the last couple of innings. Oh, 2 pitch, gets him, hits him in the back. All that work to finally get an 0-2 count, and you lose him to a hit by pitch. Certainly not intentional, a soft pitch. Hylas aboard, Holton up to second. Still just the 1 out in the inning. And now Lucas Olson, your batter.
Olsen has not put the ball in play today. 0 for 2. He struck out twice, but he's also walked twice, and both times he's walked, he's come around to score. On deck is Zach Whalen, who hit that killer home run last inning that really took the wind out of UMass Boston's sails. And I don't say that just because we're at a Maritime Academy. Stepping off there is Carasuto to look the runner back to second. First pitch, changeup well out in front of his Olsen. As these hitters know, they've got a chance to just have some fun up there right now. Don't have to worry about the situation at all. 10 runs ought to be able to be enough to win you this thing. You're just trying to swing for the fences and see if you can add on some more. It's a fun time, kind of like being an offensive lineman when you know you're going to run because you have the lead. You can just do what you like the best with little regard for anything else. So stepping off there is Carasuto again, looking back to Holton. You really don't have to worry about runners moving, I don't think, at this stage with the 6-run spread. 0-1 pitch. Misses down low. Evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. It's certainly been a lengthy affair as we're approaching the 3-hour mark. Started back at 4:30. One pitch, lifted high to left field, and lands in foul territory for strike 2. Oswego State looking to get back to the College World Series for the 2nd year in a row. And they will be sitting in the driver's seat if they can pick up 3 more outs today. Needing to win just 1 more game. 2 chances to win once. It's a great position to be in. Ground ball off the pitcher's glove, gloved at second base, and will get the out. Oh, no! Did not call the out at second. As flopping all around was Murphy after he picked up the ball. Was in the vicinity of second base, tried to slap the ball in his glove down on the second base bag. Didn't work out, so it's an infield single for Olsen. There's still just the 1 out in the inning, and this top of the 9th will continue to drag. You would think that if UMass Boston was going to make a pitching change, they would have done it by now. So that's not going to happen. Carasuto, one way or another, has got to get himself out of this. Whalen homered his last time up, and he takes ball 1 outside here. That Whalen home run didn't change the game so much as it just started to put it out of reach for Oswego State. You were entertaining the idea of a dramatic UMass Boston comeback. Whalen really changed all perception of that. As here's another pop-up back our way as it'll land behind us. 1 ball, 1 strike. Oswego State in all likelihood has what it needs to tuck this one away. But with the opportunity, looking to see if they can collect some more while we're still here in the top half of the 9th. 1-1 pitch, fouled straight back to the screen. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes. One-two pitch down low, but fished out. Fouled off by Whalen. Good job to spoil the pitch. That's something Oswego State has been better than UMass Boston at today. It's not giving away outs. They did have that 1 pickoff, but it ended up being very inconsequential, as you remember. They've been aggressive, just like UMass Boston has. They've just had better fortune with safe calls. A couple of close plays at the plate. Safe both times for a couple of runs. 1-2, lifted foul out of play, and this is what you don't like to see in a game like this that's deteriorated in the way that this one has. Carasuto just doesn't have a lot of swing and miss potential, and that's what you need in a situation like this. You need a strikeout or two to keep the game moving, and Carasuto just isn't bringing that to the table, at least not so far. Hittable pitches and 2 strike counts. Here's another 1-1-2. And this one skied to left field. Runner will tag from third. Caught in left by Herzog. Tagging from third and coming home is Holton. He will come in and score the 11th Oswego State run of the day, as they have now scored 9 runs in the last 3 innings alone. Zach Whalen exploding here late for 3 RBI and 2 trips to the plate. So Holton in to score. Other runners stay put, so it's first and second with 2 out. Enos will be the 8th batter of the inning for Oswego State after they had already sent 8 to the plate back in the 7th. Pop up, foul out of play for strike 1. Enos could extend the inning. Nicholson's on deck. Throw down to second again, but that late. A 1 belted but foul. This one was fun for a while. Fun all the way into the 8th, right up until that home run by Zach Whalen. Really changed the look and feel of it. But then, again, remember, in the bottom of the 8th, UMass Boston had 2 on with nobody out and a chance to climb right back into it if they could have gotten a hit or 2 from the bottom of their order. But they went 1, 2, 3 after that through the bottom third of their lineup. And, of course, this inning has been this inning. Now a 7-run Oswego State lead. 0-2. Misses down on the dirt. They'll make a snap throw down to first, which strikes the runner. One, 2 the count. So you get a new baseball out there for Carasuto. Now the 1-2 pitch misses downstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. The only batter that has not come to the plate this inning for Oswego State is Brandon Nicholson, and he waits on deck. That one drifts away. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Carasuto in full-on take-one-for-the-team mode right now. Just hoping to get through it here. Full count with 2 away. He's got to throw a strike. Even if it gets hit, you got to throw a strike, but you've got to start all over again with a new batter with the bases loaded. Nobody wants to see that. He'll step off before his payoff pitch, but no infielder playing along with him, so no throw. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. It's hit on the ground, fair. Play made at deep third base. They'll have to throw across the diamond and not scooped at first. Fowler made the stretch. If he catches the ball, the inning's over. Instead, the bases are loaded. Now, going to be tough to score that an error because the throw had to come from so far. Probably going to be an infield hit there. As behind the third base bag was Riley. I mean, it really doesn't matter at this point. But the bases are again loaded. And we've got our 9th batter of the inning. Hylas over to third. And Olson up to second. And another batter that Carasuto's got to face, and he skips the first one in for ball one. That's the best chance by far that UMass Boston's had to getting out of this nightmare of a ninth inning. Didn't take advantage. Nice play over there by Riley. A good strong throw all the way across the diamond, but takes two to tango on those plays. That one's in for a strike, now 1-1. Now the 1-1 pitch, big cut and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes, your count. One-two pitch, misses up and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, bases loaded, 3 runs already in for Oswego State as they have ripped this game open to 11-1. The first pitch of the inning, a home run off the bat of Mike Delicari. That really made this a formality. 2-2 pitch, foul tipped. Carasuto back atop the rubber. Here's his 2-2 pitch, popped up. Playable over at third base for Riley. Please catch the ball. He does. And at long last, we've got an end to the top half of the ninth inning, but Oswego State removes all doubt as they put up 3 runs in the inning, highlighted by the home run by Delicari. They get the 3 runs on, we'll call it 5 hits and no errors. Why not? And they leave the bases loaded. At the end of 8.5, your score 11-4 Lakers. Beacons will need 7 for the tie and 8 for the win for the ages. We'll find out if they do it when we return. BeaconsAthletics.com.
Attention please, now playing second base for the Lakers, number 5, Rocco Leone.
Rocco Leone into play second base for Oswego State. Why not? As he gets out there to play defense for an inning here in tournament play, replacing Nicholson, who had a very nice day over at second. UMass Boston has the top of the order due. Eddie Riley leading off. Riley is 0 for 3 on the day, walked, scored a run back in the 5th inning when UMass Boston scored 3 of their 4. Soft pitch upstairs. Riley went chasing it, and a lot of people here have an interest in just getting this thing over with. And Riley swinging like it right now as he's quickly down 0-2 to Mike Abrams. And my, how things have turned for Abrams. He's actually in line for a save here. Ground ball down to shortstop. Nice backhanded play from short, and that's the stab you were looking to see. Great play by Hylas over at first base. So Hylas had a tough day earlier over at first, but he makes the defensive play of the day for either first baseman. As he stabs that one, it's just been that kind of day for UMass Boston, at least lately. So Riley goes down 6-3, and that brings Kyle Boudris to the plate. Boudris is 1 for 3 singled, but now is all the way back in the first inning. Takes a call and strike on the outside corner there. Abrams came into the game in the 7th inning. At the time, it was a 6-3 ball game, and he was trying to get a 9-out save. Well, he's doing that, but he's gotten a lot of run support in the process. He gave up the 1 gopher ball to Murphy with 2 out and the bases empty in the 7th. But aside from that, he's gotten the job done. Put 2 on with nobody out last inning, worked around it, and now is just in A1 shape with the bases empty and 1 out and already into an 0-2 count. 0-2's popped up. Will it be playable? There was some room, but outside the range of Enos, who is chasing it from his third base post. So 0-2 here on Boudreaux. Remember, you got Keystone taking on Ramapo in an all non-New England Game 12. O2 pitch, misses away. Now the 1-2, fouled off the end of the bat. One-two belted into right field for a base hit. Good swing put on that one by Boudreaux. He's got a 2-hit day. And if you're going to come back, you got to start with a base runner, right? So the Beacons get one. You're going to need a lot more than one. And David Murphy now steps up to the plate. Murphy's had a nice day. He's been on base every time. A walk, reached on an error, and then 2 hits, a single in the 5th, the home run in the 7th. But go back, remember, to that run-scoring 5th inning. UMass Boston, in a closer game, attempted a suicide squeeze, which in hindsight seems crazy with how high scoring this has gotten. But at the time, it seemed like 3-2 or 4-2 or 4-3 might win you the game. They went for the suicide squeeze, didn't make contact. Herzog did not get the bunt down. And a dead duck was David Murphy between third and home. That's one of several the Beacons would like to have back today. 2-0 now the count. Fowler on deck, but of course in a 7-run game, he can't hurt you. 2-0 right down the middle for strike one. This one now 3 hours, 10 minutes old, with one away here in the bottom of the 9th. 2-1 pitch, lifted to left field, falling fast, but running in to make the late catch is Holton for the 2nd out of the inning. And so Oswego State now 1 out away from being 1 win away. As they will jump the pile into game 14 and have a chance to close it out tomorrow against whoever's left. And that's the beauty of being Oswego State right now. You get this one final out as you face Chris Fowler, and you just throw these 3 teams that remain, UMass Boston, Keystone, Ramapo, into a blender, and you've just got to deal with the one that comes out. They've got to exhaust pitching in the meantime. UMass Boston would have to win 1 game tomorrow. If one of the teams playing in Game 12 were to make it, of course, they've got to win Game 12 and Game 13 to get there. And you're just in A1 position against whomever you face, as Fowler goes fishing on that one for strike 2. So is the tournament over after this? No. But it's going to be very hard for Oswego not to win based on what they've accomplished here today. And that's what they've earned, picking up the wins on the first 3 days of competition. That's what you go for when you get into an 8-team regional. 0-2, hit on the ground down to second base. Playable there for Leone, and he throws on to first for the out that ends the ball game. So this one was a thriller for about 7.5 innings here today, maybe even into the bottom of the 8th. But a big late offensive push and a big offensive outburst by Oswego State takes all the fun out of it in the end, unless, of course, you're an Oswego State Laker fan, in which case it was very, very fun, as Oswego State blew it wide open in the late innings with 4 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and 3 in the 9th, picking up 2 late home runs, the 2-run shot by Whalen in the 8th inning, and then the solo shot in the 9th off the bat of Delicari. Getting the win was their starting pitcher today, Brian Nolan, who went 6 innings strong, and getting the 3-inning save was Mike Abrams. The loss goes to Bobby Tramandozzi, who got hit hard, gave up 5 straight hits in the 7th after a scoreless 6th, and this was just a game where they tried to leverage him through the end, Andrew Miller style. There was just too much baseball game left on the end of it. They couldn't do it. And Oswego State gets what technically is a come-from-behind win at 11-4, though they trailed by just the 1 run, and rather briefly at that. So Oswego State gets the win. They get to sit out the next 2 games. They know that they've got a chance to win this whole thing and wrap it up tomorrow. For UMass Boston, they will play the first game of the day tomorrow against whoever wins our nightcap today. Do stay tuned for things about location, start time, all those things. Hard to project what's going on with this tournament. I can't say anything with any certainty right now, so do keep it tuned to beaconsathletics.com for up-to-the-minute information as it becomes available. We will have the game for you tomorrow, no matter where it is, no matter when it is. That broadcast will be brought to you on beaconsathletics.com, and do just bear with us on where and when that'll be and against whom. All that to be determined. The Beacons are still alive, but they are not in that post position they enjoyed in 2010 and 2017. They're going to have to do it the very hard, very long way if they're to return to the College World Series in 2018. Well, that'll do it for our broadcast today. Again, your final score for the final time: Oswego State 11, UMass Boston 4. Oswego State moves into the championship round, and UMass Boston now has the high, steep mountain to climb. That'll do it for us today. On behalf of everybody here at UMass Boston, this is John Cabral saying thanks for watching and so long from Buzzards Bay.